Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show, your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk. Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, and the Eagle Eye, Bill Cerna, and the best co-host anyone could ask for, Cuervo. We cover it all. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports. Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.
Oh, yo, everybody. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, here on a special edition of the Couch Potato Sports Show on the holiday here. As we decided to take yesterday. Okay, Sonny decided to take the day off yesterday. Long day for old Sonny, as we had obviously work in the morning. Then last Saturday, work with SOAR Championship Wrestling. So needless to say, I had a long Saturday and just decided to literally veg because it was sleep. When I was awake, I was vegging, trying to do some things, and just the tiredness took over. And so we decided to go ahead and move to today to talk about it. However, that being said, that's the name of this show. We have the AFC and the NFC North and South that we're going to have to cover here today, as the actual games are going to start on Thursday. Now, interestingly enough, I have not been confident that the season was going to start. Whether or not someone will be in the stands and everything else, I haven't really worried about. And obviously, with what's going on with the coronavirus and how things are happening, who can be where and how many can be there. And with baseball, you see no one in the stands, and football says we're going to have people in the stands. It's like the NFL is going outside of its way to just do whatever the hell they want based upon what everybody else is doing. There's nobody in the stands for hockey, no one in the stands for basketball, no one in the stands for baseball. However, the NFL says they're going to have fans. I don't know how much they are going to be able to do that. I don't know if they can do that. We're going to find out Thursday. I think there's a lot of things that we're going to find out before Thursday. I think there's still a lot of things that are up in the air regarding the season. I think there's still a lot of things that are up in the air regarding this week as they move closer, and then they're going to make that decision on whether or not they're going to play or not. Now, I haven't heard any different. I haven't heard that they are not, but there is a game on Thursday. And that also being said, with that game that happens on Thursday, it opens up this season, and then we'll see how this season continues on. Because as the season moves on, depending on what will happen, depending on what everybody will say, will be the determination on whether or not they'll have fans in the stands or whether or not they will play. Again, guys, I have not heard anything about the season. Will they play this season is not the question. It seems like they are moving ahead. Good, bad, or indifferent, it is what it is. I don't know what the product will look like. I don't know what the product will sound like. I don't know any of that. But interestingly enough, some things that have happened already as far as this week is concerned and news. So until I get Cuervo in, I'm going to cover some things as far as news is concerned. Let's head to Miami, where they got that rookie down there. Tua is going to battle with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I already told you what I felt about the name Fitzmagic. Okay? Ever since they won those games and then he got the nickname, they've been downhill. Well, guess what? They've decided to go with Ryan Fitzpatrick as the starter in Miami. Good, bad, or indifferent, it is what it is. Clowney, the big story, Jadeveon Clowney agrees to a one-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. And now that we are going to be talking about the AFC South and North today, that is a huge thing for the Titans. That is a huge signing for this team because when you look at when we get to those games, we'll talk about it, but I'm not too impressed with the offense, especially with Ryan Tannehill at the quarterback position. I don't necessarily believe in the second coming of Ryan Tannehill. We'll talk about that when we hit those. But the signing of Jadeveon Clowney is huge. $15 million, he gets it. It's a deal that is going to put them in a position where they'll be definitely better defensively. Now, the New Orleans Saints and another team that was going after him, pushing, trying to get him, their offer was only $13 million according to this. So he takes the extra $2 million, goes to the Titans, and I think I give up the $2 million and I go to the Saints. I mean, out of all the teams that are going to make it into the playoffs, I think the Saints are one of those teams, and obviously we'll talk about that in the NFC South, that we'll be talking about that division of football. There's also a report earlier last week that the Washington Redskins were going to release Adrian Peterson. By the way, I'm calling them the Redskins until they get a name. I'm not doing this Washington football crap. They're the Redskins until they officially change their name, at least on this show. And so the Redskins, they cut Adrian Peterson, and then according to some reports that are out there, Adrian Peterson is going to sign with the Lions. And according to it, what it is, $1.05 million. That's cheap. That's cheap for a guy that you don't know that'll blow up. You might as well grab him up. You have injury problems at the running back position anyway. We'll talk about the Lions a little bit later on in this show as well. The Buffalo Bills, they go ahead, they get their cornerback Trey White, and they finalizing that deal, 4-year extensions. There's lots of numbers being talked about it, so we don't. But the big signing, the big deal this week was a signing that happened in Houston. And I find it very interesting that the Texans went on and did exactly what I thought the Dallas Cowboys could do, but not do that guaranteed amount. 4-year deal, $160 million. That comes out to $35 million for Deshaun Watson. And 111 of it is guaranteed. Now, Dak Prescott wants the 4-year deal and all 4 years guaranteed, in my opinion. I think he wants that money up front. If the Dallas Cowboys offered that to him, they would take it. So that also, looking at that situation, they got a lot to worry about, especially if the Dallas Cowboys are successful this year. If they are successful, moving to the playoffs and to the second or third round of the playoffs, watch out. So think of this. All right. Straveler, former, and just to let you know, the Cardinals go out and grab a Canadian football player. If you know, Sonny, I keep track of Canadian football because I love it. So that is a huge story going out there. They get Straveler out of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and they made the roster over in Arizona. So interestingly enough, that is huge news there, just to keep that up there. Also, the Redskins, back to them. The Redskins, Alex Smith has made the 53-man roster. And this is only 2 years after that injury, guys. That was the most brutal thing I've seen in a long time. Joe Theismann, obviously, the other one on the same day. You know, I don't know if karma's coming back to snap him in the butt when that happened, but damn. Also, the Miami Dolphins, another move that they had. They go ahead and get Lynn Bowden Jr. away from the Raiders. So that is another thing that has happened. So according to what I'm looking at, another release the Washington Redskins, Sean Davis, he was released, and that's according to Adam Schefter. And big news as far as this week is concerned, that happened. Another team that we're going to be talking about in the NFC North, Mitchell Trubisky, was named the starter in Chicago for the Bears. Good, bad, or indifferent? I'll find out from Cuervo what he thinks about that situation. I don't know how I feel about it. Those signings make me change some of the things that I look at in the NFC and AFC North. I don't know. Here's one thing I do know, okay? As far as the Couch Potato Sports Show is concerned, we're being brought to you by our sponsors. Make sure, especially those that are in our area, please check out our sponsors for any of the services that you may need. Nest Egg Wealth Advisor with my friend Rick Lucas over there. Karen McKinney along with Budget Blinds. Rowlett Food, that's your delivery service. Don't use Uber Eats, especially in Rowlett. Use a local guy if you can. Merchant Masters, DFW, if you have anything as far as putting together a payment area for your they call it POS. That's a purchase to sale systems for them as well. Jeremy Morgan of Ray Hubbard Realty, check him out. Butch Wesson General Contractors, and then my friend Rodney James of Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors, 19 Ministries, K West Designs. Get yourself some nice shirts. You'll see those when we debut on the Couch Potato Sports Show for the Rowlett Eagles varsity football team. The first game happening on October 1st. Dickey's Barbecue, Costlow Insurance, Liberty Air and Heat, and Perfections Body Sculpt. Check out our sponsors as we'll be flashing them up in their frames a little bit later on today. Check them out as we always do. So that being said, that's the name of this show. A lot of things that we're going to do. We got 8 teams to look at in each of the conferences. 4 teams in the North and South for the NFC, 4 teams or 8 teams, 4 for the North and 4 for the South in the AFC South. We're going to be covering those. Looks like Cuervo's trying to get in. We'll be bringing him on here in just a moment as we go and do what we do. So since he is almost close to doing what we're going to do, we're going to just jump off really quick. We're going to go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to start with the NFC North because that is the Chicago Bears division. We'll see what one Cuervo has to say about that. We'll take the quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Costlow Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance to save a ton. Costlow Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CostlowInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607 or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com. At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. So roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors, proud sponsor of the Rowlett Eagles radio broadcast. Are you looking for a new home? Want to know what your house could sell for in today's market? Then you need to contact Realtor Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Rockwall. Whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or investing, he can help you get where you need to be. That's 214-236-2914. Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group, Keller Williams, Rockwall. RowlettFood.com. Do you want to have dinner delivered but you don't want to use Uber Eats? Contact someone locally that can do the same thing at a better price and faster. All you have to do is pick a restaurant on the list at the website, tell us what you'd like to order, then check out. Check out RowlettFoods.com. Give us a call at 972-408-8002 or check us out on the web at RowlettFood.com. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com.
Liberty Air and Heat. Everybody knows what the Texas Heat can do to your air conditioning and heating systems. That's why you need the experts that deliver the best and most honest service in the Rowlett area. We provide the high-quality air conditioning and heating services that keep you more comfortable when you need it.
So contact Liberty Air and Heat at 469-678-9444 or visit them on the web at libertyairandheat.com.
Let me get me back in the stream. There we are. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful holiday as we get all set and ready to go. Hopefully you had a great 3-day weekend that was set up for you as far as the holiday, and that's great when you can spend some time. Cuervo says he's on his way in. At least that's according to him now. There he is. And then, of course, we have Brian Tarvin, who's checking in. We always say, if you guys want to get in, if you want me to, let's see here, and can't that, got that, hold on, and some destinations learn more. Okay, all right, so hold on, okay, okay, all right, so everything should be good. All right, so I was just checking some things out before we get started. Let's just review really quick what as far as the teams that we have chose as far as the ones that we are going. Yes, there he is. It is Steel City Storm. He is looking forward to talking about the AFC North. We will do that after we talk about the NFC North. So we'll go NFC North, AFC North, and then we're going to go AFC North or AFC South and NFC South. And we're going to switch it around a little bit based upon some of the things. But just go back over what we've got picked until we get Cuervo in. He's just making the connection as we speak. All right. That being said, over in the NFC East, we both have the Cowboys and Eagles right now, based upon the information that we did 3 weeks ago. Now, I don't know if any of it has changed. We reserve the right to make those changes if something runs amok, some changes, some injuries, or things like that. But as of right now, we both have the Cowboys winning the division with the Eagles followed by second. I picked the Washington Redskins in fact that they just don't have anything to lose. And I don't think anybody's really expecting a lot from them. So that is the reason why that Cuervo has the Giants finishing third. I got him last, and he has the Redskins in last place. Over in the NFC West, we both have Seattle and San Francisco in that order. Seattle winning the division, San Francisco in second place. I have the Rams in third place here. Arizona for Cuervo. I have Arizona finishing last, and of course, he has the Rams finishing fourth in that division. In the AFC East, we both have New England, but a little bit different here. And I don't even know why, because just something about the quarterback position in New York. You check it out. I like the guy at the quarterback. His name's slipping my mind. I think he's going to have a really good season. I think it's the step up. It's the reason why I have the Jets in second place in that division. Now, Cuervo has the Buffalo Bills, understandably so. As far as what they have done the last couple of years, making playoffs and stuff like that, different changes. I have Buffalo in third place. He has the Jets, and we both have Miami on the bottom as they made the decision to go away from Tua at the starting quarterback position for that. And so that's the way it is. Then in the AFC West, we both have Kansas City. Well, we have New England win that division. I know I'm crazy. Couple of notes there from Brian Tarvin. That's how he has that. I gotta, you know what? I gotta write that down because I want to make sure if I'm sure he'll send them to me, but I'm going to write them down anyway. He's got Philly and the Giants and Skins and in the NFC East. Calls me crazy, and the Bills will finish second. I know. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's one of those hunches that I get sometimes, and about 70% of the time they come out right. So I'm going to kind of stick with that. So in the AFC West, Kansas City, we both have winning the division. We also both have Denver and also have Oakland finishing in third and San Diego finishing last within the division. Those are the ones that we got set. Those are the ones we have talked about already. So that's going to lead us into the teams that we're going to be talking about today. So hopefully everything is going well for you. I don't know where Cuervo is. The Jets suck. But I don't know. So I'm just now I got to put it out there because let's see, Jets QB. His name is slipping my mind. Of course, it's here but not here. Sam Darnold. I don't know what it is about the guy. I like the fact that where he is in his career, moving up there. I don't know. The one that you're crazy about is the wonderful Cam Newton. I guess I'll ask Brian since he's right there. Do you think that Cam's going to win the MVP? But how about the Super Bowl chances for that football team? Interestingly enough, I would love to see it happen. What I would like to see, just what it won't happen, and the odds, I don't know what the odds are. I would love to see the Buccaneers and the Patriots in the Super Bowl just for fun. That would just kind of make a lot interesting talk. And you want to talk about the 2 weeks before that? Wow, there would be a lot to talk about as far as that is concerned. So as we're waiting here for Cuervo, I want to jump back to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson earlier this week, he signs that big contract. He gets $160 million on the contract. $111 million, if I'm not mistaken, was the guarantee on that. So I look at it and I ask myself, what's the difference between Deshaun Watson and the difference, and Dak Prescott? And I'm going to tell you, I see a lot of differences. I think in reality, I think he's better. But then you have Brian Tarvin. He calls him average. But here's the thing for Deshaun Watson. He thinks he's average. I know for a fact, Brian Tarvin does not like Dak Prescott. He doesn't like his talent. I do. He doesn't think he's worth the money. I do. Who else are you going to get? Basically on that thing. But that being said, there he is. He thinks they're on the same level, but he's average. But you also look at the division. You see, and this is one of the things that I really like. You look at the division of football, the NFC East, or least, because they have been sad. The last time they were good is when they won 13-3, and I think Romo was the quarterback. Actually, yeah. No, I think Dak Prescott went 12-4, but they went like 13-3. Maybe it was Dak Prescott. But before that, Tony Romo was leading the Dallas Cowboys. Those were the games. But you're not going to have the teams in that division, whoever's going to win it, going to win 12 or 13 games. You're going to get 11-6, 11-5, or 10-6 to win that division of football. Unless they decide, and that being at least whoever decides to run away with it, whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's the Cowboys, they're all going to get on the same page. But I don't know if I trust enough with Mike McCarthy at the the head coaching position for him to go 13-3 or 12-4. I'm more comfortable with 11-5 or 10-6. So but there's a lot of things that I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys as far as what they got going on. I like the Mike McCarthy hire, but it was really simple as far as that was concerned. They had to keep an offensive line or an offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. Now, I'm not a guy that is going to say, okay, the guy just is not set to be an offensive coordinator. And if I am wrong about that, I'll put it up there. I don't think he's set to be the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, because this is exactly what it is. He's terrible, as Charles would say. And then we got this Tampa Bay versus New England in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'd like to see it, just basically. So whether it's the coach going against the player and all that other stuff. But interestingly enough, this could be the season that we talk about, well, was it Brady or was it actually Belichick? And we might get an answer on that. But I will tell you also that if Tom Brady gets out there and takes his team into the second round of the playoffs, I think you have to go player. I mean, you're going to do it on a total different team with a total different coach. And I'm getting a message here. Oh, no, that's not me. Boom. So that being said, got to get Cuervo in here. Where's Cuervo? Let me just check this, see if he's messaging me. He's getting set up, and that was 35 minutes ago. Hope he's okay. But that being said, I'm going to hop in, and I'm going to start talking about divisions of football. And then we'll get Cuervo in when he decides to grace us with his presence. I know he's putting on his face, but that being said. But I won't do this. I'm going to make a little switch. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to start in. Whoa. Wait a second. And just as I said we were going to hop into it, I get the man, the myth himself here. So hold on, let me hit.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Sonny?
Ooh. And now I'm in. That's what happens when that's what happens when you don't have a producer or a director. I got to do it myself. So how you doing, man?
No worries. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you didn't see, because I was saying, your ugly jersey there, but I actually kind of like that jersey.
Whoa, okay.
But I like that jersey, and so I got to give you credit for that one. So, that being said, good morning, my friend.
Good morning to you.
Hey, I like the back. I like the backdrop. I like. How's the new house? You all set up and ready to go?
I'd say we're at about 70%, 80% done.
Okay. Now, we're in a sprint now, right?
Say that one more time, Sonny.
We're in a sprint now, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time.
Because games start Thursday. We got
Yes.
North and South on each division to cover. So we might as well just jump right into it. So
Let's jump right into it.
We're going to go right to the NFC North and start in that division of football. As you got the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, the Detroit Lions, and the Chicago Bears. And news already out this week that the Chicago Bears have decided that they're not going to go with the new signee. They're going to hang tough with Mitchell Trubisky. Before we even get into the divisions, that was one piece of note I wanted to hear about before we jumped in the division. How you feel about the fact that they're not going to start Nick Folk at the quarterback position?
Sonny, that's not the direction I thought they were going to go. But who am I to say that that's the right or wrong decision to go with Mitch?
It is your right. You're a fan of the Bears, a lifelong fan. You have a right to express your disgust, because I know you're disgusted about that because of your comments that you have made in the past about the fact that it's time to maybe look a different direction at the quarterback position. But what is this? Mitchell Trubisky's third year, right? I get as an organization why they don't want to cut bait. I get it and I understand it. It is his third year, right? So you don't want to, he had a good first season, average second, average it out and see what you're going to do in the third. But I guess I'll ask you as a fan, how long are you going to give Mitchell Trubisky before you want them to, take that proverbial, what's that called? The proverbial cane and bring it out and wrap it around their neck and yank them off the stage. How long are you going to give Mitchell Trubisky before you start calling for some Nick Folk?
This season, and the Bears have already declined the fifth-year option, so that's kind of a telling sign of how they truly feel about Mitch. But as far as them wanting to start Mitch, yeah, I probably would be late to my own funeral. But anyways, like I said, they must have seen enough out of him during training camp to say, we're going to stick with him. I think it's more of a confidence thing, Sonny. I think Matt Nagy identified that if they bench Mitch Trubisky, he's not going to be the same quarterback, whether he stays in Chicago or he moves on to another team after this season. Because like I said, they declined his fifth-year option. So This is his last year regardless. So that's why I say this is it for him. So if he performs well, then I see a short-term extension happening. But if he craps the bed again like he did last year, then you won't see Mitch Trubisky in the Bears uniform anymore.
Yeah, there were a lot of things as far as that was concerned. Injuries had a lot to do with that season of last, and the year before. I thought it was fine. The fans are so fickle. It's unbelievable. Like down here in Dallas, they want the Dak Prescott to take them to the Super Bowl. Dude, he's played 3 years. There's only a handful of quarterbacks that can take your football team to the Super Bowl in the first place within the first 5 years of them being on the team. Fans are so fickle. I don't know. I don't think giving up on Mitchell Trubisky is the worst idea after this year, but I don't think they're going to give him a full year to figure it out, though. That's for sure. Depending on what happens in the first 5 to 6 games of this season will determine whether or not that Mitchell Trubisky will continue to be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears as they move forward. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. We got 4 solid football teams. Now, when I say football teams, when you think football, you think tradition of football. Minnesota Vikings in the 70s, Green Bay Packers with Brett Favre in the early 2000s. The Chicago Bears obviously winning Super Bowls. The Detroit Lions had been there, but it's a solid football team as far as an organization. But that's a team that hasn't been able to do what they're going to do. But interestingly enough, when I was looking at the division of football, I saw three of them that quite possibly can make the playoffs and not. So when I was picking this division of football, I was asking myself the question. There were a couple of things that I asked, okay? And so you're going to completely hate Sonny Clark today because as we do our divisions of football, we start from fourth and move to third. We're in the NFC North. And I'm going to tell you right now, a football team that is, to me, and this is based upon news, based upon personnel, based upon what is going on, I say a football team that right now is completely lost. And you probably think I'm talking about the Detroit Lions. And I am not talking about that. I'm talking about the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings right now cannot seem to get out of their own way when it comes to what they're going to do as far as personnel is concerned. And that is my biggest problem with Minnesota. And then, obviously, the quarterback situation, I'm not a fan of, and that's going to run its course. And I think that's going to start this year. And as much as I, wanted to put another team in the final position, I didn't do it. And I love Zimmer, but I don't necessarily know if they're going to be able to be the team in this division of football. I wanted so desperately to pick the Green Bay Packers to finish last in this division like we both did. And, of course, we had a little, peppermint schnapps in our coffee when we were making that prediction last year. But right now, Minnesota, it just seems to me their running back position, they got a little problem there as far as that's concerned. It's not all roses right now in Minnesota. So right now, when I'm looking at this division of football, I've got Minnesota in last in this division, and I think it's going to be the difference between 2 and 3 games as far as from first to last in reality, because all these teams in this division are capable of winning 10 games. The question is, how will it fall out on the division, and who else will be in the running for the wild card?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Sonny. I think this is a very close division. I think, like you said, I mean, this could be a division where, 11-5 and 8-8 is what separates first from last.
Right.
So, I think I'm spot on. You're spot on with that. As far as the Vikings finishing last, not quite so much.
Do you still have love for Kirk Cousins at the quarterback position?
It's not so much love for Kirk. It's love for the other parts of the team. I still think they have. I still think they have a good defense, and I still think that they have a strong running game. What's going to hurt them, though, is I think that's because of the fact that they lost Stephon Diggs in a trade.
Right.
That's one less weapon for Kirk to throw to.
Right.
And I think that, that's going to completely deplete the offense. If Dalvin Cook isn't healthy or if he's not having, a solid game, then I think offensively the Vikings are in trouble because of Kirk. And he is, I think that tells you that I've lost some love for him. So,
right. They picked up the move that I did like out of everything that they've done this year. Obviously, picking up the Jaguars pass rusher Navoki. I can't ever say that guy's name, so I don't even try. So I just call him Yannick, his first name. The guy's super bad. Okay. They gave him from the Jaguars. That was a good pickup. The rest of it, I just don't know. I mean, I see, because my heart tells me that Minnesota should win this division, if not win it, be in second. But also, the difference between the division is we're seeing some teams deciding, well, that if they're going to make a move, it has to be this year. And I think I'm believing the moves that have to be made in orders. So, and Green Bay, I think, is going to be right there. But interestingly enough, Cuervo, when I look at what's going on, I don't know about the actual chemistry of the team. I'm worried about that. And you look at it with the new GM. I don't know if they're going to go into a different area and everything. They were in talks to try to get Leonard Fournette as well. That didn't happen. They were in talks to get Alvin Kamara. That didn't happen. And those two things where if you can't get Leonard Fournette, you got problems. Now, you might not be able to get Alvin Kamara. He probably has his mind on something else. But that also scares me that an Alvin Kamara wouldn't go up there. I mean, to me, I think Alvin Kamara is the guy that you're going to put behind Cooks if you're going to do it. But in fact, he is a starter. So that's the reason why you see him up there. And I think he signed with New England, didn't he?
Who's that? Leonard Fournette?
Yeah, no, Kamara. I think he signed with the Patriots. I'm not sure. I got to check that out.
No,
is he still out there?
He's still with the Saints. There were talks about they were shopping Alvin Kamara.
Yes, they were.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Cool. All right. But at the same time, the GM, I think he's dropping the ball. You can't get Leonard Fournette. That's a problem too. So, to me, it seems like the little rise that they've had, it's about time for it to come crashing down, and I think that'll do it. Right? So that's but one or two games is going to separate first and third or first and last in this division. I just know it is. That being said, where do you have Minnesota on the list?
So, I actually, Sonny, I have the Minnesota Vikings finishing. This might surprise you a little bit. I have them finishing second.
Okay. No, it's not. I get it. I understand why. Because of the success of the last few years. A lot of these picks, because of there's a lot of uncertainty. COVID is a big one. Certain players, how long will they play? Will certain players get sick? I don't feel very, very. So you got them in second in this division. I'd like to see more. I want to see more from them. I want them to be the powerhouse, but I think Kirk Cousins is the problem as far as that's concerned. So we'll see where that goes. So that will lead me, unless there's anything else you want to say about Minnesota before we move on.
No, I think we covered Minnesota pretty well, Sonny. Yannick Ngakoue is a beast, and I really didn't want to see him in our division, but that's a reality now. So
absolutely,
those offensive lines better be ready to go.
Definitely. So that's going to lead me to the team I think will finish third, and this is where Cuervo will hate me. I think that Mitchell Trubisky being the quarterback of your football team is going to be one of the problems that you'll have unless they figure it out really quick. And after week 6, if this guy is not playing well, the direction of this football team could go into the tank. And I came this close, Cuervo, this close to picking the Bears finishing last in this division. But one thing I think I know is, and I've been known to be wrong. That's pretty much a lot of things as far as I'm concerned. But I do like Matt Nagy. I do like what he's going to do. I think he's going to keep them in contention of at least the wild card of this division. And I think Matthew Stafford is a much better quarterback than your guy. And that's only the reason why I don't have the Chicago Bears in second. It's the quarterback position. The rest of it, I like. The running game, I actually kind of like it. We'll talk a little bit about that. But when I look at this football team, as far as where they're going, and I think one of their weaknesses is the offensive line too. So I think that's going to come in a lot. Unless, Cuervo, we see what happens when Dak Prescott took over for Tony Romo, and then the offensive line learned how to block again. I like David Montgomery at the running back position. He's not great. They could have definitely used Leonard Fournette. That would have been an upgrade in reality. That didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I like Cole Kmet they got at the tight end position, but he's a rookie. So that you got to look at that one as well. But that offensive line is really killer. So the combination of the quarterback and the fact that that offensive line is not there, I couldn't put Chicago any higher than third in the division because I don't know who the weapons are. Allen Robinson at the quarterback's position, or the wide receiver. Ted Ginn, I mean, that guy has been there, done that, and should be sitting on a beach somewhere not doing anything. And then Anthony Miller. I mean, the only guy I think you got really going on the offense as far as the target is Jimmy Graham, and we don't know if he's going to be, the old Jimmy Graham or not.
Well, I'll tell you this, Sonny. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of practice or training camp in Chicago, with the Bears, and
right.
I mean, obviously, everything looks amazing, right? Because that's what they're trying to do is make everything look good. I think I like the tight end core that we have.
Yes.
As far as the offensive line is concerned, I think losing Kyle Long to retirement is obviously a huge hit. But I think the difference in whether they're going to be good or bad is who they hired as the offensive line coach, Juan Castillo. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do to improve that line. Because obviously, Bears didn't sign any big name free agents on the offensive line. Actually, no, I'm wrong on that. I think they signed one guy, and his name slipped in my mind, but I think it was a guy to replace Kyle Long. But I think the more important factor here is what Juan Castillo can do to help improve this line, coach him up, and
right.
Maybe show them a couple things to try and improve the performance of the offensive line. Same guys, but if they can improve their craft as far as offensive line schemes and blocking and things like that, you factor in the two tight ends that Chicago brought in with Graham and Cole Kmet. I think there's going to be some holes that can be for Tariq Cohen and David Montgomery. If Montgomery can get back on his feet, because he did hurt himself during training camp. He sprained his ankle or something like that one day in practice. So I haven't heard if he's back on his feet or not, but if he's not, then it's going to be on Cohen until Montgomery can come back. So that's a concern, obviously. As far as weapons for Mitch, yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel's gone, Teddy Ginn comes in. You've got Anthony Miller, which Anthony Miller is the name that has been making a little bit of buzz in Bears training camp.
Yeah,
he's been showing some good signs of some improvement from the first 2 years that he's been on the team. So that's a guy that sounds like he's getting better, and he's going to move up the depth chart, maybe become the number 2 receiver and put Teddy Ginn in the slot or something along the lines of that, because Ginn still got some speed. I mean, he's not what he used to be.
No.
We all know that, but I mean, the guy can still move with that football. So
I think your GM dropped the ball here, especially with getting the weapons, whether it was for Nick Folk or Mitchell Trubinsky at the quarterback position. That's where the GM dropped the ball. They needed it. And Cuervo, there's plenty of talent out there to be got. In fact, someone just cut someone out. It was Corey. The name's just slipping. He's out of Baylor. His first name's Corey. He just got cut. I think you guys should go out and get him. He's a big, tall dude, long arm reach. I'll figure out who that was, but he just got cut. That's the thing. They've dropped the ball on personnel as far as weapons to get the quarterback.
Well, I mean, and I think because I think Ryan Pace has really been – he's been a little how do you say, on the frugal side of
Right.
spending money this offseason.
It almost came to me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean,
Corey Coleman. Corey Coleman.
Corey Coleman. Okay.
Grab that guy up. I mean, he's not going to be any worse than anybody else that you got in reality. But he hasn't really gotten the chance to do whatever he's going to do for that is concerned. So, yeah.
True. Yeah, I mean, the only money that I've really seen Ryan Pace spend this offseason was signing Jimmy Graham, obviously. And then we actually picked up Robert Quinn. So I don't know if you're familiar, if you remember that name. He played for the Rams. He went down to Miami, I think, for a year or two, but now he's in Chicago.
Where you got him?
So,
where you got the Bears?
Sonny, it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. But I think I have to agree with you on this one. I think the Bears finished third in this division.
Yeah.
So
I would hope that I hope they brainstorm. I don't know if it's much better with Nick Folk, but I think he's just better. It will all depend on how long that they go with them, and that will be I think that will be a big time difference in as far as that's concerned. I'd like to see him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do better, but it's just I just don't foresee it within this season. Now that'll take me to the team that I think will finish. I listen. Matthew Stafford needs something to happen for the guy. Now I know you got the Lions in last. I got him obviously in second in the division. The coaching and everything else, everybody is kind of on a hot seat, and some guys respond to that, some don't. And that's one of the things when your head coach is already going into the third year, not getting what obviously you thought that you should get. I don't know about whether or not that was a great thing in reality to kind of put them on the hot seat, because they kind of the organization basically said they want something big. I don't know if they're going to be able to answer it, but one thing I do know is when I was looking at the Detroit Lions, their breakdown, they got 4 running backs that could possibly play anywhere as a starter or a second. And you got DeAndre Swift, the rookie that they picked up out of the draft. They got Kerryon Johnson. They got Ty Johnson, and then Bo Scarborough. I think all those guys can actually be a 1 or 2 on a different football team. I think they definitely got that. Kenny Galladay at the wide receiver, and then Marvin Hill backing him up. I think it should be different. I think Marvin Hill should start on the left side, and on the right side, you got Marvin Jones. I think this guy is going to have a breakout season, and that's another reason why I brought it up as far as where Matthew Stafford is. I think he's going to find a guy. I think he's going to try to find his Calvin Johnson again and get the guy the ball. But at the same time, you look at it, they got TJ Hawkinson. I love this guy. And the simple fact of the matter is, even last year, even though they finally utilized it a little bit, when I look back and I looked at the stats, they didn't utilize it enough. So I think in reality, they dropped the ball big time getting it to the tight end yet again. I don't know what it is about Matthew Stafford about not wanting to get the ball to the tight end, but it's a history. This is good. They've had real good tight ends that they just didn't utilize, and I think that's a big mistake. So if they don't get the tight end involved in this offense, that could spell doom for them. But I like that. Their defense, I'm a little bit worried about as far as the defensive line. I'm worried a little bit about the secondary, but if everybody plays like their job depends on it, they might have a shot. I think the talent level at the defensive line, they're not going to get to the quarterback a lot. So they're going to have to make plays in that secondary. I think they got the ability to do it, whether or not they will do it or not. but at the same time, look at you got Trufant on the defensive line. You got Christian Jones. I really like that guy. That guy is a big monster. And then Tracy Walker, he is one of the safeties. He's probably one of the better ones out there. When I think this is a back against the wall, and I think maybe this team can respond to it. Now, granted, they haven't been able to respond to it, for the first 2 years. But maybe something comes together. It's the reason why I had Detroit moving into second place based up on their offense.
Okay, all right, Sonny. I hear you on that one. I respect your opinion, but I'm going to also respect mine. So
last in the division, what do you think about the coaching situation there? Obviously, they went out and got a guy, and that's also one of the other things. They went and get the defensive mind. Its name slipped my mind. Came out of New England, the beard dude. But he was supposed to be the definition of defense, but I think they're lacking in defense this year. But it's going to be on the other side of the football. What do you think about the coaching situation up there?
Yeah, so Matt Patricia is the head coach, and I like Matt Patricia. And that's not my concern with the Detroit Lions. My concern is it's like the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Yes.
So, and that's how I feel about Matthew Stafford. I feel like we talk about the same thing with him every single year. Matthew Stafford needs to, step his game up, get the ball to the tight end more often. He needs an offensive line that's going to protect him. Like, it's the same story with the Detroit Lions every year, Sonny. Excuse me. And, you mentioned the list of running backs that they have. One of them's getting cut. I'm telling you right now, one of them's going to get cut because they got to make room for the, according to you, non-Hall of Famer, which he absolutely will become a Hall of Famer, in one Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, did that signing happen? Actually, I read it. I've been trying to
yes.
It has been confirmed. Yeah, so one of them's going to have to go. It's probably going to be Bo. Bo's probably going to get cut, or maybe Ty. It's either Ty Johnson or Bo. But yeah. And I was hoping that signing wouldn't happen because, you already know how I feel about Adrian Peterson. And now he's even older. And now he's even older, even though he found a little success up there in Washington and everything. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know. I mean, could this be do you foresee him having a good season there?
I think he'll contribute here and there, but is he going to be a 1,000-yard rusher, 10 double-digit touchdown guy? No. I think DeAndre Swift is going to wind up winning that starting job. Mm-hmm. And I do like Kerryon Johnson too.
I do too. He's the first 1,000-yard rusher for that team since Barry Sanders, by the way. So the guy's got some skills. He's gonna. Unless they use them for trade bait, and that could end up happening too. If a team needs a running back, and with the recent success he's had, they could use them for trade bait as well. I don't know. I don't know if they will or not. I mean, how many running backs do you want to hold on to? As far as the Lions are concerned, so is it going to be 3 or is it going to be 4? Is going to be the big question. It won't be 5.
Yeah, I would say 1 or 2 of them are going to get cut. You're probably right. It's going to be Bo Scarborough and someone else. I think the ones that stay are obviously Johnson and DeAndre Swift, and then you'll have Adrian Peterson. So you're talking 3 running backs that have the ability to.
Oh, they got him on the cheap too, didn't they? Didn't it like $1 million.01 is what I thought I read, and I'm like, God, Listen, I am no Adrian Peterson fan, but for $1 million, hell yeah, I think, and if I thought I needed one, I think I go that route.
I think it was like $2 million. But either way, I mean, that's still dirt cheap for a guy that has had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah. supposed Hall of Fame career.
Oh no, it's Hall of Fame, Sonny.
We can sit there and argue that all day long. And one of these days when I do get some time, which is not lately, but I am going to go and I'm going to prove my point about him one of these days. I just know I am. But it is what it is. But this is the Couch Potato Sports Show. That's the NFC North. Leads us to the final team, the Green Bay Packers. You really don't have a lot to say about it. And here's the thing, what really kind of pisses me off about even having to pick them. If you got three other teams that have been, and you have two of them that, one of them over 100-year history, and another close to 100 in Chicago and Detroit. I mean, this is football. I mean, if any of them, but then you got the Green Bay Packers have been there all day long. I finally want this team to be dethroned. I mean, they have been. Oh, yeah. You know who they remind me of, Cuervo? And I know you're going to hate it when I say it. They remind me of the Indianapolis Colts winning that division just by default all the time. Yes, I didn't go New England because that's what it was. I'm talking about the Colts with Peyton Manning, and, they were, in the AFC South. No one was even touching them. And right now, as far as what's going on in the NFC North, that's all we're getting there. And here's the thing. When you have Aaron Rodgers, you're always in the football game, and Lord forbid if it's less than 7 points or less, he's going to get what you need in reality.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that.
He looks better than me. That's just what kind of ticks me off. But I got a better background. There we go. So that's about it. Anyway, but I mean, does anybody even have a chance, to I mean, I think they win the division by 3 or 4 games in reality, especially this year.
I wouldn't say by that much. I would say 1 or 2.
You're thinking Minnesota's going to be right on there behind?
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of splits in the division. Between Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago. I think, they all beat each other once and lose the other, right. Somewhere along the lines of that. I foresee that happening, but, it disgusts me. It makes me sick to my stomach.
It makes you want to puke in your throat, doesn't it? I mean, puke in your mouth. It's just and I'm tired of picking them, but at the same time, it'd be stupid to pick against them. Right now, nobody's taking that step forward. Now, if one of these teams were taking leaps and bounds, that'd be one thing. But that's not what we're getting in reality. We're getting worse than that. It's that no one's stepping up to the plate to step up to the Packers, and that's what we're getting in this division. And it's been that way for the last 4 or 5 years. They were looking. Chicago was looking for Mitchell Trubisky to be the answer to that question, and obviously, look who they passed on. So they're never going to live that down. By the way, the Bears will never live down. Taking Mitchell Trubisky where they did and who they passed up to get him. And I won't hurt your feelings by saying the name, but it is what it is, and it's where it ended up, and that's the organization right now. And I think that's my biggest disappointment as being a Bear fan. That's the biggest disappointment I am. But really, in reality, they're really not doing anything they haven't done before in their past. They never spend money. They don't do that kind of stuff. They don't go out and get a player when they need to. That they've proven that as well.
Sonny.
All right, besides your guy, which by the way was a good pickup, but that situation as well. If they would have kept their defensive coordinator, I would say maybe the defense can roll through. And I'm not saying their defense coordinators, the worst in the world, but when Fangio was there, everybody was on the same page. Could you? I think as far as the Bears are concerned, forget about the personnel. I think their biggest loss is Fangio. I really do, because everybody was playing top-notch football at the time before he took the job over in Denver.
So you don't like Chuck Pagano as a DC?
No, you don't. Overrated. Look, he's overrated. What has he done? Really think about it.
Well,
Outside of the year, he came back, from cancer, and everybody was feeling good about it. Take the feelings out of it and look at what he has actually done. Chuck Pagano, the last time he was successful, we just mentioned the Colts. I mean, that's the last time we've seen him.
God, Sonny.
Huh?
I mean, did we forget? You remember all those great Baltimore Raven defenses with Ray Lewis, Ed Reed?
I did.
Pagano was the mastermind behind all that.
I did. Well, no, he wasn't the defensive coordinator over there for that, or what?
Oh, but he was.
Oh, okay. Then I'm just forgetting about it. But
mm-hmm.
I okay. I guess I got to give him. I hate giving the Baltimore Ravens credit for anything. I really do.
We're not talking 2000 Ravens where that team was bought, because that defense was bought and they won that Super Bowl. I'm talking the defense in Baltimore that was built from the ground up when Ray Lewis was in his prime. They drafted Ed Reed. They had Haloti Ngata and all those guys. Pagano was there for a lot of that. Okay. So he knows defense.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to remember my name. So there you go.
he was, it was his first year in Chicago last year with that defense. Be battling through injuries. Eddie Jackson went down, Khalil Mack went down, Akeem Hicks was out for the season. So, obviously as a Bear fan, I'm going to make excuses, but but they're facts too. Injuries are facts. So,
just
if that defense was fully healthy, then you might have seen a little bit better results. Now that we're in a fresh season with everybody healthy again, the only thing I don't like, and you've known this already, I don't like the fact that they stayed older, and they kept Danny Trevathan over Nick Kwiatkowski. That's the move that I did not like on the defense. I just wasn't a fan of Danny Trevathan. I haven't been a fan of Danny Trevathan. I think he's old and slow, and maybe he'll prove me wrong. So Marvin Lewis, part of that. The 2000 Ravens. Marvin Lewis was the DC for that defense,
and that started to reign over in Cincinnati for way too long. But it is
right. Yeah, I knew that was going to get brought up. I knew that was coming. so
really not really talking about a lot of players in reality. Right now, just Green Bay's the class of the division. Sometimes you got teams that run a division, unfortunately, until one of these other three teams step up and decide to actually really challenge them. They're always going to be on top of it. Yeah, that I got to get some more coffee to get that taste out of my mouth, as I just threw up in it again as well.
I think I'm going to go brush my teeth during the break.
No kidding.
Again.
So that's what we'll do. We're gonna do this, just mainly because this is what we do. We're gonna take a quick break, about 3 or 4 minute break. When we come back, we'll go to the AFC North and talk about them. And I know Steel City's been looking forward to this one, so we'll talk about the AFC North when we come back. We'll take the quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. We'll be back in just a few minutes here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Let me hear. There it is. There's the button right there.
Liberty Air and Heat. Everybody knows what the Texas Heat can do, your air conditioning and heating systems. That's why you need the experts that deliver the best and most honest service in the Rowlett area. We provide the high-quality air conditioning and heating services that keep you more comfortable when you need it. So contact Liberty Air and Heat at 469-678-9444 or visit them on the web at libertyairandheat.com. Ever want to know why Bill and I look so good on our broadcast? Check out K West Designs on Facebook. You can take a look at our pictures and see the quality of the work that comes from K West Designs, especially if you have a special occasion. Just get on Facebook, look up K West Designs right in the search bar, contact them directly for questions or anything that you may have regarding your personal design. Landon Huey, and 19 Ministries.
One of the things we want to do is Rowlett Revival, and we know that there are a lot of hurting and broken people across the city. Bring in a guest speaker, and he's just going to share the love of Christ, and we want to connect people in the city up with churches.
So make sure you contact Landon Huey at 19 Ministries at 972-835-8665, or check them out on the web at 19ministries.org or uniterowlett.org.
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, whether you want real Texas brisket, Virginia ham, southern pulled pork, or fall-off-the-bone ribs, Dickey's Barbecue is the place to go. Come visit us today at 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
Liberty, Air, and Heat. Everybody knows.
Welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show as we're covering a total of 4 divisions of football today, because we got games that start on Monday or mark that Thursday. So we'll talk about that as well as we get going. But just quick review: Green Bay, both of us think they're going to win the division. I think that the Detroit Lions, they don't have anything to lose, but they got a lot to lose. I think Matt Patricia might be able to put them together, give them 3 years. Hopefully that will work out for them. I don't know. Chicago, I just don't trust. I don't think Cuervo even trusts them very much either. That's one of the biggest problems as far as where your team is going to end up. That's one of them. Also, I have Minnesota in last place. That prediction is bold. And I get it. And frankly, they should be in second where Cuervo has them. I just don't. This division of football, I don't trust it. And this year especially, because I don't know. I don't know how much of the fact that there are not going to be any fans in the stands, if there's not enough, how that whole thing is going to play out for them. By the way, I don't know. Someone make some comments there. I don't know how football went Saturday. Didn't have time to look at it. I was so busy with SOAR Championship Wrestling, getting set for that. By the way, guys, don't forget about that, because guess what's going to happen? We are working on a digital pilot right now that are going to include some big names in wrestling that I'm not allowed to mention, or I'll get slapped up by Sir Mo. And believe me, you don't want to be slapped up by Sir Mo. There's going to be some big names coming at SOAR Championship Wrestling, so make sure that you check it out. It is good for anybody, and I will let everybody know. Obviously, I do the commentating for SOAR Championship Wrestling. for Soar Championship Wrestling on digital. That's going to be going out there. We're going to be kicking up some Raku. We're going to be on the Fire Stick as well. We're working right now on the pilot. The pilot will be available here fairly soon. Look out for that. That's just one of the another things that Sonny Clark of the Couch Potato Sports Show is doing to obviously promote the show, and obviously working with Sir Mo has been a lot of fun for me as we get there. So SOAR Championship Wrestling, we are in action again Saturday. We'll be down in Claiborne, Texas for Undeniable. Some great matches going on over there. Check out SOAR Championship Wrestling on Facebook and see some of those matches that are going to be going on. Good to have Cuervo on here on a holiday. You getting ready for the holiday? You're going to be cooking up some burgers and some dogs and stuff like that for the week. I'm having chicken. I'm having chicken because I like chicken. Is that what you got going on over there today?
Well, I actually did some stuff on the grill yesterday. I made I made a little bit of chicken, but I also made it's called carne asada, but it's flank steak essentially. It's like a thin flank. Say that again.
What's your address? No, I'm just joking. Get on out there.
I'll message you privately.
Private message there. So
you're always welcome.
Steel City Storm. I know he's ready to talk about the AFC North, and I know he's been hanging out. Hopefully, he's hung out long enough, and he can hear this as we start in that division of football. And you know, sometimes teams can't get out of their own way, Cuervo. And when you look at the AFC North, there's two of them that can't get out of the way. That'll be on the bottom again this year. So I don't think this division is too hard to figure out as the bottom two. Whether or not you think one will be better than the other, that's fine. We fell for a little hype. We fell for the hype listening to the stories, but when we picked, we still had Cleveland last. Guess what? We were completely right last year. This is a football team that cannot seem to get out of its way. They got the talent of Odell Beckham. They got the quote-unquote talent of Baker Mayfield. They got the quote-unquote talent of the offensive line. So, what's going on there as far as that's concerned? As far as that football team is concerned, I do have them in last place because here's one of the things. Sometimes if you bet on a dog, okay, you should expect dog results. And, right now Cleveland is a team that don't get out of their own way. They don't know how to do what they need to do. New coaching staffs and everything else, I don't know if that's – some teams are just losing franchises. Some teams can't get out of their own damn way, and that's what's ended up happening here. We got egos all in different directions instead of all coming together as one for a run for the playoffs. This is a hard division to make the playoffs in. We can go back and Steel City Storm will correct me on the years because I know they're on the head. There were 2 years in a row where the all playoff teams, all the winning the division, and two of the wild cards came right out of this division. That's when Cincinnati was playing well, so they were able to do that. They did that. I think if it wasn't 2 years in a row, they did it 1 year, skipped another, and did it. So they did it twice, grabbed up the last two wild card spots outside of winning the division. We don't get that this year. You got one team that's going to fight for the division, and then another team fighting for a wild card. But it's not going to be the Cleveland Browns. And until they start winning football games on a more consistent level, then actually throw this element to it. Well, can you get the consistency, but looking like a football team that can make a difference week in and week out, you just don't get that with Cleveland.
No, this team is not consistent at all. But I will say this. I think I have a little bit more love for Cleveland than you do, just simply because of the fact that they have actual talent on that football team. I can't say the same about the Cincinnati Bengals, so I think you know what direction I'm going with both of those.
Absolutely.
Teams.
But looking at the Browns and those that don't know, the way we do the picks as far as the division, I start out who I think is going to finish last, not because I don't want Cuervo to do it. It's usually I started out when we start talking about it. So, but they've lost a lot as well. As far as players are concerned as well. So they lost a few players that I think are going to be something that will rear its ugly head. But until I don't even really have a lot to say about the Cleveland Browns. I don't believe in Baker Mayfield. I believe in Odell Beckham Jr. if he believes in his quarterback. And you can say whatever you want. He might have believed in Eli Manning to be able to get him the ball. How he got the ball, that could be different. But right now, I don't even think Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham are on the same page whatsoever. I think they're in totally different. And I think that's going to cause problems. What it may do, though, is have some of the guys that are not necessarily the big names actually get the ball a little bit more if they don't get on the same page, and which I don't think they will. So looking at Cleveland, you got Odell Beckham Jr. I've always said that was probably the right thing to do. But now I look back on it, Cuervo, I got asked the question, was that the right thing for the ball for the Cleveland Browns to get Odell Beckham? What do you think?
I still think it was a good move because I think Cleveland needed to get excited about something. I mean, think about it. It's the Cleveland Browns.
And then when they landed Jeff Landry, his buddy, I think that really did something too as well. And God, it just didn't connect out on the football field.
No, not quite. And that's because I think, like you said, coaching is when you have an inexperienced coach like Freddie Kitchens, you can't really expect a whole lot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I mean, look, on paper, Browns they got some talent, Sonny.
They do. Because I was looking at it when I was looking at the depth chart. Even they got Nick Chubb, they got Kareem Hunt. By the way, all right. Yes. So that was probably one of your reasons why you probably moved him up, because I know you got some mad love for the guy. But he's got to get past Nick Chubb, which I think is a badass. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they got some badasses up on that defensive line as well, Cuervo. So, but they've not been able to put it together. So the question will be, as they move forward, Cleveland Browns, what are they going to do as far as continuity? And that has to come from coaching in reality. And I don't know if they're going to get it. I've heard of Kevin. Kevin. I can't even say his last name. Stefanski. If I'm not mistaken, he was Minnesota, wasn't he? He was on the defensive coaching staff in Minnesota that made them really good. So, but in reality, you what you said is right. When you look at the talent on this team, there should be no reason why they don't finish second in this division. They just don't know how.
Right. And I don't know if that's a cultural thing in Cleveland, Sonny, but I also think that, like you said, the continuity is not there. And that's not just with the players. I mean, you look at it's kind of similar to what you mentioned a couple weeks ago with the Miami Dolphins. They've traded out head coaches like they changed, like we change our underwear. You know what I mean? You get a new one every season. So when you run an organization like that and you don't have the continuity, what do you expect? Really, what do you expect? So that's the problem that I see with the Cleveland Browns. The same thing you see with the Miami Dolphins. I see the same thing with the Browns. Once they get a coach that is established and they feel that can have long-term success or at least come in and build that winning attitude. Because I think they have the players to do it, believe it or not. And I know you don't like Baker Mayfield, but there's a certain type of attitude about him that if Cleveland gets the right coach to mold Baker Mayfield and so he gets his head out of his ass on and off the field with the little things that he needs to work on, I think I think
I don't think
Cleveland's
he reminds me of. Cuervo, take a guess who I think he reminds me of.
He reminds you know what? You've said this before too, and I'm gonna kick myself.
He came second to your boy in Indianapolis. This is who he reminds me of. Washington State. Second to your boy Peyton Manning.
Ryan Leaf. Yep. Ryan
He's
Leaf.
Ryan Leaf. Dude, he's doing exactly what Ryan Leaf did. In fact, if you follow the career, take away from an apology that was written down, he threw it, because he didn't want to say it. You take away from that, you're getting Ryan Leaf all over again right now. Unless, like you said, unless that coach can go up and grab him not by the scruff, okay? He needs to get him by the balls and say, listen, this is how we play football. And every time you don't play football the way I want to, I'm going to squeeze a little bit harder, and you're going to be singing in a cappella before you even know it. He needs to be come down on and realize that he is not God's gift to quarterbacking, and he's not God's gift to Cleveland, and he's lucky to be on a football team. That is one of the problems. He went in there with a bigger than thou attitude, but that's not necessarily his fault in reality, because if it was any other team, I bet you a dime, if he went to any other football team in the NFL, he would not be the way that he is, because he'd be coached better, he'd be mentored better, and that's where they dropped the ball. The coaching was horrible. They had no mentor. They let this guy run roughshod and do whatever the hell he wanted, instead of someone just grabbing him and say, listen, you're not doing that here. This is not college. This is the NFL. So I think that's where they dropped the ball big time on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I don't think he really had anyone to help him prepare mentally for the grind that it takes to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Absolutely.
The reason that he's a starter in the NFL is because, well, the Cleveland Browns don't have anyone else to be their starting quarterback. And so with that said, like I said, I think he can get the job done, Sonny, but again, he's got to have the coach that's going to stay on his butt about that straight line that he needs to stay on to stay focused. And because sometimes I think he loses his focus.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know it's going to sound stupid, but you notice last season he was in a lot of like commercials and stuff like that. And I get it. I mean, companies, they want you to be their spokesperson and whatnot. It's a little extra cash on the side for you. He could have also respectfully declined and said, look, I need to focus on my game. And I'm going to pass up on the opportunity to, do this commercial, whatever. Athletes do it all the time, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been best for him to, instead of chasing money and doing all these commercials, study up on his game and get better, because I know you're not going to like this. It's the same division. Yeah, the same division. But look at who the MVP was. How many commercials did you see him in? I don't remember seeing him in any commercials. Because
now, do you mean Patrick Mahomes?
No. Well, him too, but I saw him in a couple of commercials.
Yeah, he's been there. Who was the MVP last year?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Good
Lamar
point.
Jackson. I don't remember seeing him in any commercials during the season. He might have been in
locals that we didn't see, probably. Yeah, I imagine, but that probably didn't take a lot. But you know what? Interestingly enough, when you think about that, you're absolutely right. Not on the national stage. Jackson did not need a distraction outside of football. As it is, he went in, everybody wanted him to go to wide receiver. He says, no, listen, I'm a quarterback. I'm not a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And no, I'm not going to play wide receiver, which I give the guy a lot of credit for, because normally you think about the NFL, if you're going to make it in the NFL, you do what they tell you what you're going to do, more so than him saying it. So I think he had, at that part, I look at Lamar Jackson and I like about him. He wasn't taking a back seat. He wasn't going to go to wide receiver. He wasn't going to be a running back. He is a quarterback, and I dig that about him. Whether or not that play whether or not that play will end up in deep run into the playoffs, in the AFC Championship game, I don't know. We'll find that out. But the difference, you're right, between night and day, is it's work ethic. And it doesn't seem like Baker has it. Now, granted, as we say this, we don't know what he does on a daily basis, but the perception of Baker Mayfield is that he's not in first one in, last one to leave. Hell, that's where some of the problem in lie. That's one of the things people complain about him. Not that he's not necessarily the first in, but God, can you be here a little bit longer, kind of thing. And usually the champions, when you think about it, think about when you talk about guys that are great. They are guys that bust their ass in playbooks. They're looking at film, and that's all they're doing, dude. They're taking film home with them so they can study it. And you just don't get that with Baker Mayfield. Where do you have the Cleveland Browns in this division?
So, Sonny, I've got Cleveland finishing third again, like I did last year, and I've got a better comparison for you. Not that yours was not good as far as Baker Mayfield, but I just thought about – I think one that might hit home a little bit harder for those listening, especially if you're a Browns fan or those watching. And it's funny because it's a guy that actually was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, was expected to take this franchise to the next level, and it just never panned out. Can you take a wild guess who I'm talking about?
My brain has cried this morning. For me to have recollection of a specific thing, especially about the Browns, I think who you're talking about was one that was been drafted within the last 3 years, but my brain's just not able to get it from year to year.
He was drafted a few years before. I'd say it was about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Money Manziel, Johnny Manziel. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
If Baker Mayfield doesn't, and that's what I'm saying. If he doesn't gain his focus, he's going to be the next Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, watch out. I get it. Bring it into today's world. Thank you. I go way back with Ryan Leaf. So yeah. So Big Ben, good, and there is an example. I only seen Big Ben in one commercial. I can't even remember what it was. So that right there, and then the AFC has 4 teams finishing 6th. So some mad love from Steel City Storm from him. So you got him in 3rd, and I'm sure the team that I got going into in 3rd place, you got going in last. We're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a franchise. This is a franchise right now. If they finish 3rd in this division, that's a successful season, especially with what's going on at the quarterback position, grabbing up the rookie, and seeing if that can help. Or I don't know if it will or not. But you got Cincinnati finishing in last place. Why?
I just, I know everyone's excited about Joe Burrow coming in and number 1 overall pick and all that great stuff. I just don't think Cincinnati has improved their team enough to be any better. I mean, yes, they're going to get AJ. I think they got AJ Green back, and that's great. I love
that's
AJ
the
Green.
reason why.
Well, I mean,
that's the reason why.
Is that
that's an improvement? They didn't have him for 1 game, so it's got to be improvement from last year. In reality,
very true. But I don't think it's enough, though. I don't think it's enough to say that the Bengals are going to win more games than Cleveland with an Odell Beckham, a Jarvis Landry, a David Njoku at tight end, Nick Chubb, and you got guys on the defense that can play, Denzel Ward and guys like that. So I just don't think Cincinnati has the talent to match even what Cleveland has. So Now they might get lucky and beat them at home or something like that, but again, I'm sure Bengals fans, the few that are out there, are excited about Joe Burrow, and they should be. Now it's time to go and start building around him.
You know what I'm excited about it? Because you take a look at it, okay? They do get, they get Burrow, so that is their guy. The bad thing and good thing. The good thing is I think they do have actually a pretty good core. Joe Mixon just got the up on the contract, so that's always good. And then they got Bernard, who's always been there, and the guy's always got the capability. I think that's just bad play calling that they didn't utilize him enough. AJ Green, if he's completely hurt, I love Tyler Boyd, by the way. I think he could be really good. Where they're lacking though, Cuervo, they don't have a tight end to talk about. And so much so, I've never heard of Drew Sample, so I'll just go and just say my stupidity. If he's big, bad, and great, I've never heard of him. So that's when I was looking at the depth chart. That is where I was. But this is still a football team on the defensive side that has Geno Atkins. That guy's got a motor, and he's going to get the. I think that guy. I think this guy is going to step up. New coaching situation, new offense. They feel more better about going out on the football field because I think that they've got, AJ Green coming back. It's not just AJ Green that's coming back. It is the feeling that they can win football games because he is back. And I think that's the difference when I look at them. Now, obviously, I don't think they could get the first, second place, but for them to finish 8-8 would be crazy good season for them. Now, will they do it? I don't know. I got them winning 7 games. It's super successful going 8-8. But that's a lot of things because you got the rookie, you got the, so the difference between the Cleveland Browns and the difference between the Cincinnati Bengals, I think you got more maturity from an AJ Green. I think that's huge. You've got Joe Mixon, who's been able to do it. And if everybody can get together with the rookie and teach him the right way, which I'm going to bet on that they can, I think, and this is the year to do it. This is a, how you say it? All right, I'll say it this way. This is a piss-off year, dude. I don't know if anybody's really interested in winning football games, or I think more people are worried about other things besides football this year. And I think teams like Cincinnati can win games that they probably have no business winning. And because of the other distractions, obviously COVID and things like that, nobody in the stands. Well, guess what? Cleveland and Cincinnati are used to that. So you look at that, it's no big deal. This is nothing different for them. Those are the type of the teams that can go up there and play. One of the things also, though, defensively is they grabbed up Logan Wilson in the draft. He's going to start at linebacker. I think that guy is going to be a badass in reality. And so you add that to Carlos Dunlap, which, by the way, he's not done yet. I love Carlos Dunlap. Just the names, I guess maybe I'm more confident with the names compared to some of the names that we're getting with Cleveland. And that might be the reason why I got these flip-flop compared to you.
Well, I mean, I think you like the upside that Cincinnati shows more than I do. I mean, I'm just not a believer quite yet. I give it a year or two. I want to see what Burrow's really about. Because he put up insane numbers at LSU, but how does that translate to the NFL? It's absolutely different. You know what I mean? You're not playing, Louisiana, State anymore, or that actually LSU is Louisiana State, but you get what I'm saying. You're not playing no cupcake college teams. Everybody's a professional.
Everybody talks about the speed difference from college to the NFL, and that's something he better learn. All rookies. I mean, rookie second-year guys, you better figure out the speed of the NFL. It's 2 steps faster than what you're getting in college at every level because they've been playing at that level for that long. So it's totally different. Like you said, playing Louisiana State is not going to get the job done when you're walking in there. You got to be way, way better than that. So it should be interesting to see where they end up going. So that leads us to the team I got in second place. this is where we may differ yet again. I just when I think football, Cuervo, I don't think and listen, I love me some Lamar Jackson, but the type of game is only successful for so long. And and now whether or not it will continue with the Deshaun Watsons, with the Dak Prescotts, and guys that are taking that step at the quarterback possession to be a guy that can run the football and do what he did. Listen, I even admitted last year he was the MVP in the regular season. And forget about what they did in the playoffs.
Yep.
In the regular season, this guy was the MVP. There is no question in my mind. I mean, there might be questions in other people's mind, but as far as what he did last year, no, I don't know if anybody expected. If they did, I don't know if they'd be lying or not. But I just don't believe in that type of football for very long, Cuervo. I just don't. I still look at it as a fluke. More guys are coming in the league that way. The question is will they, with the new guys coming in with that type of talent, continue to be able to be successful? Until it's more successful, I don't know if that kind of game can last that long. I like Lamar Jackson. This guy cannot throw down the field, and that's been proven. You can sit there and talk about his numbers all day long, but listen, this guy doesn't go down the field. And when a guy's throwing for 175, 178 yards a game, no more than 200. I think I had a stat one day where he threw over 200 yards 3 times last year. That's not going to get the job done at the quarterback position. Wow. And if that is the quarterback's future, that's going to stink for the game, I think, as far as the traditionalism that I have. But I think this is not – he's got 2 full years where defensive coordinators might be able to figure him out. I still give the edge to the defensive coordinators to figure him out. I might be stupid in saying so. But that being said, I think in reality and listen, this is a good football team. Don't get me wrong. I mean, so obviously I got the Steelers winning the division, but the Steelers are not going to roll all over Baltimore, okay? That's just not going to happen. It's going to be a one game that gets dropped that they probably shouldn't have dropped. That will cost them the division, then they'll be playing for the wild card. So that's the way I kind of look at it, as far because I think Baltimore's going to go to the playoffs. I think they're going to go to the playoffs. So whether or not, I mean, God, they had a great record last year. So I don't know what you think about Baltimore. What do you think about Baltimore? Where do you think that they can end up landing?
Well, Sonny, Steel City's not going to like me for this. Baltimore's going to win this division, and I say that by the slimmest of margins.
Got it. Okay, so that makes sense then.
Yeah, I think the the Steelers are going to be right behind them, but I think just because of the fact that Baltimore's a little younger, they're a little faster, and I think they're a little more. How do you say? I think they got a little. There's more dynamics to their football team compared to what the Steelers have going on. I think that they're still finding Le'Veon Bell's replacement.
True. Good point.
They haven't done that. Juju, I think, is a guy that you don't know if you're going to get the Juju you need and want every Sunday. Number one, because he's going to get a lot of double teams. He's getting a lot of double coverage. Number two, I've just noticed that Juju sometimes checks out of games. He's not all there, and when he's not getting the ball, he's one of those guys. And
if he has
if
he has the same kind of season he did last year, I think I might believe that. I'm just hoping. I think the reason why he checked out is he didn't have Big Ben throwing football. I think that is a big factor on. I see what you're saying about that, by the way. Now that you say that, but the simple fact of the matter is that they're going totally blind. In reality, with that football team rolling without Ben, listen, that team's only going to go as far as Big Ben can take them. I think Big Ben's always got that guy. If he's not a first-round Hall of Famer, I don't know what he's got to do not to be one. But at the same time, if I'll tell you right now, if he could lead this team into the second round of the playoffs, everybody's going to be talking about Big Ben is back. And by the way, this will not be Ben's last year. I think he's got 2 more years past this, but at the same time, the Steelers need to find a versatile backup that can play the game, because really in reality, when you looked at last year, they were still on the cusp. 3 weeks before the playoffs were determined, they were still in line to get a playoff spot if they had better quarterback play. So that right there tells me that you need to go and you need to find a backup quarterback for your football team. And I don't know if they did enough to do that. I'm pulling up the depth chart now because I don't even know who the backup is. Do you know?
The Steelers' backup is.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up right now. So
it was Dobbs. It was Josh Dobbs. Now I think it's Mason Rudolph still.
Yep. Actually, just to let you know, it was Dobbs had the second. He was second string 2.5 weeks ago. They just dropped him, obviously preparing for the season. So, but I don't trust Mason Rudolph. To me, is Gardner Minshew. Okay, which in reality is not a good quarterback. Okay, so that alone just makes me feel uncomfortable about him. But those games between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, I don't care what city they're playing in. It's gonna be a knockdown drag out, which is like they always are. And I'll tell you, if the Steelers are going to win the division like I think they are, they've got to figure out how to contain them. They're not going to stop them, but they got to figure out how to at least contain them and not let them be so. And there's that. I was getting ready to say that the defense is going to be really good this year. And with Big Ben in the games, those games that they lost by 1 to 3 points, those turn into possible W's for them with Big Ben back in the lineup. And when I was thinking about the division, the first things I think about who's the better quarterbacks. Obviously, Big Ben is the better quarterback. We can debate it all day long, but he is, okay? Simple fact of the matter is Lamar Jackson's not a Hall of Famer. And until he proves that he can be on his way to be there, Big Ben is the better quarterback within this division. He's the best quarterback in this division. But it's going to be all about defense within this division, because even though you take a look at it, you still got Jim Harbaugh over there, okay? That guy knows how to build up a defense. So look out for that. But here's one of the things. I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. If it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, Cuervo, if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, Jim Harbaugh would be he'd be a coach maybe someplace else. He wouldn't be the head coach of the Ravens. Really in reality, Jim Harbaugh owes the rest of his career right there in Baltimore to Jackson.
I partially agree with that. Now, who do I think is the best quarterback in this division? It's not Ben. I'll tell you that right now. It's not Ben. It's Lamar. I think, and I don't even think it's close.
I get where you're coming from.
And I don't even think it's close. And look, I have nothing against Ben Roethlisberger. He's had a Hall of Fame career, 2 Super Bowl rings. Okay. But the reason, people say that he's the best quarterback in the division is because he's the most well-known quarterback in the division. Now, if it's a popularity contest, then 100% Big Ben wins by a landslide. But here's the problem I have with Ben, Sonny, and there's nothing that you can do because Father Time's undefeated.
Right.
Okay. He's older. He's beat up, and I know Steeler fans don't want to hear it, like Steel City, but it's just like with the New England Patriots. You know, I mean, now Brady got traded. He got traded away, or he left.
He left. Yeah.
But it was going to come to a point where Brady was just not going to be the same guy that he was 10 years ago. And I think we see it more. Ben's age is showing a whole lot more than Brady, just because of the amount of, beating that he's taken over his career. And again, that's nothing against Ben. I mean, it's the facts of what his career has been. He's obviously on the downslope. He's been beat up. He's been injured. And so if I had to put money on it, Sonny, I don't think Ben plays all 16 games this season. I don't know that he survives all season.
Listen, that is the biggest question. Hey, James, do you want to come on? I can send you the link if you want to come on. Let me know if you want to come on. But so we can get your take on it. By the way, if anybody wants to get on, just message me over at Facebook. I'll try to catch that message. And I'll send you the link. If you got a camera and a microphone, I'll bring you on, especially James, if you can get on. I'd be more than happy to bring you in because I'd like to talk to him about it.
And I see he's asking, he can't throw downfield. I never said he couldn't. I don't think he can throw as far. I don't think he has the arm strength that he used to have. But I still think he can, he's got enough zip in there to, make the throws that he needs to. It's just not going to be the Big Ben that we're used to seeing when he used to, go down, bombs away with Antonio Brown or with when Santonio Holmes was there and some of those guys, but or Mike Wallace, those are fun times for Steeler fans. Trust me, I watched. So, but that's not the same Ben anymore. He's not that guy anymore. So,
Hey James, just to let you know, we're on video right now, so I would the link that I would send to you would be on Facebook, and then you'd follow the link with the camera, and you can use your phone. They have, by the way, just to let you know, we're being brought to you on StreamYard. StreamYard has upped their game big time, and since we went to all video, this is just the way we're doing it. We haven't been on Blog Talk in lots of months, since actually November of last year, when we just really haven't been there. We're getting more success here on StreamYard. So if you can do a camera, send me a message in Facebook, and I'll send you the link. And if you can do it on camera, and we can do that. But so you have the Steelers in second in this division, I'm assuming then.
Yes, sir.
So.
Second.
And you got Baltimore winning that. I got it. So we're flip-flopping on the first two teams and the back two teams. So that's always good. I was like back and taking a look and see how we did on our predictions, which we're pretty good at the top. When it gets down to third and fourth, he can only call only. Got it. All right. So one of these days when you can actually do video and stuff when we're on air, let us know. I'll send you the link. You're always welcome up on the show because I always send out I actually forgot to send out to everybody this morning, whether it be Brian Tarver. So Brian, if you want on, I can send you the link. And of course, Jonathan. So now before we go on to our next divisions of football and go, how was college football? I literally watched that many minutes of it. 0 minutes of college football this weekend. What do you got going on over there? What did you see?
Honestly, Sonny, I really didn't watch much either. I'm going to have to catch some highlights. I know being the college football fan I am, I've just been busy with finishing the move and stuff like that. And so I honestly didn't watch any. I knew there were games on, but didn't really get a chance to watch any.
But if you weren't busy, would you have stopped and watched games, or are you thinking about the COVID situation? I just want to. I think that's probably what I'm looking is how the games were, I guess. So if anybody watched any college football, let us know in the notes. How was it? Was it different? I didn't have time to even watch it. And yesterday I was a zombie. So I think I watched about 27 episodes of Frasier. That's where my brain was.
Oh, gosh.
Off and sleeping. I was just in a daze. I went for 22 hours on Saturday. I was up at 4 in the morning. I didn't get done until 2 in the morning the next day. So I had a long Saturday. But that's what happens when you get set for what we're going to be doing. We're doing a pilot for digital to bring Store Championship Wrestling to at least digital, and then obviously, hopefully, we'll be able to sell it to somebody to pick it up. So that's about where we're at. So now that being said, we have 2 other divisions of football that we're going to take a look at. We're going to take a look at the NFC South and the AFC South. Do you have time for that? What's your time crunch?
Yeah, no, I got about another hour I can spare, Sonny. I think that should be enough to get through these divisions.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that and knock that out. What we're going to do, we'll take another quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, as I need some more coffee. I don't know about anybody else, but we'll get some more coffee going. So, yeah, you got yours, and so I need to at least get another cup. You're watching the Couch Potato Sports Show. We'll be back. We'll talk about how about the NFC South. That's where we'll go first when we come back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Costco Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance to save a ton. Costco Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CostcoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
Liberty Air and Heat. Everybody knows what the Texas Heat can do to your air conditioning and heating systems. That's why you need the experts that deliver the best and most honest service in the Rowlett area. We provide the high-quality air conditioning and heating services that keep you more comfortable when you need it. So contact Liberty Air and Heat at 469-678-9444 or visit them on the web at libertyairandheat.com.
Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607 or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com. At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. So roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors, proud sponsor of the Rowlett Eagles radio broadcast. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com.
Ever want to know why Bill and I look so good on our broadcast? Check out K West Designs on Facebook. You can take a look at our pictures and see the quality of the work that comes from K West Designs, especially if you have a special occasion. Just get on Facebook, look up K West Designs right in the search bar, contact them directly for questions or anything that you may have regarding your personal design.
And we are back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we are here looking at all the divisions of football, getting all set, doing a special show. Hopefully everybody has a great holiday as we get set and move on as far as where everybody is. And, whether it's hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever the case may be, that's always good stuff, So also just to let you know a little bit about the Couch Potato Sports Show. We kick up high school football supposedly on October 1st as the Rowlett Eagles are going to be at home. They will be at Homer B. Johnson Stadium for the first game. Now, I'm not sure of the opponent. That was just what I was told. It was supposed to start the week before the first. That didn't end up happening. And interestingly enough, when you look at the high school football that is coming in there, it says it's the first. So it's actually the high school. The game is on a Thursday night, just to let everybody know. It's normally Friday night lights, but I'll be at the Homer B. Johnson Stadium on Thursday night. Look for the pregame show with myself as well as the Eagle Eye Bill Cerna. We'll try to take a look at this year, see what we're going to do. Interestingly enough, it's going to be very hard to get information as a preseason. So that's the reason why we're not doing a pre-show per se this year for the Eagles, because we just don't know what the season is going to look like. So we will do a pre-game show, talk a little bit about what we do know about the opponents and everything else at that time. So make sure you check that out. Also, make sure you check out me, Sonny Clark, as we do the commentary. I do the commentary with the legend in his own mind and the podfather himself, Trey Mack, for SOAR Championship Wrestling. Saturday, we're going to be in Claiborne, Texas. We got some great matches coming out of there. We're going to have about 3 matches of some of the students coming out of the Bumps and Bruises Academy. Guys, if you want to be a wrestler and you're in the DFW area and you want to be mentored by a guy that's been in the business for over 30 years, that is Sir Mo. Sir Mo, a former Men on a Mission, if you want to look it up. And plus, the shows are out of sight, guys. I'm telling you, I've talked about it. If you took a look at my Facebook page, you'll see, these guys, whether or not they make it in the big leagues, I act or make a call for the commentary like they're in WrestleMania. And that's how much fun that we have. So check out SOAR Championship Wrestling. Check out Raku. You can download it. Right now, we only got 8 matches up, but we are working on a pilot to sell the pilot in the digital. So make sure you check it out when we get it out. Obviously, I'll be announcing the digital show and the pilot as soon as it becomes available. A lot of work to do until then. It's looking like it'll be October or in between October or November, depending on the situation. By the way, just to let you know, next October, SOAR Championship Wrestling, we have got some great names coming in. Luke Gallows is going to be there on the October show the October show. Okay, so I'm doing a game, high school football, on the 1st. And then October 3rd is going to be Luke Gallows that is going to be here at SOAR Championship Wrestling. I can't wait for that. Can't wait to meet the man, as well as he's putting on a 2-day clinic, guys. 2-day clinic with Luke Gallows and some other names that you might have heard of if you're in the wrestling business. So make sure you check it out. 2 days is $300. 1 day is $150. I suggest you do both days so you can get it, so you can learn whatever you need to learn. It's going to be an outstanding situation. It's going to be an outstanding time to learn from one of the guys that does it the best. And this guy's going to end up, they just re-signed, WWE let him go. They're back at Impact. By the way, Impact Wrestling, I actually kind of dig. A lot of people don't. I dig Impact Wrestling. So just to let you know also that we have got guys that run through the Bumps and Bruises through SOAR Championship Wrestling that have made it to AEW. Rob Risen, Raquel Chanel has made it up there. and another young lady, I forget her name, I'll remember it. But there's been names that have made it through the bumps and bruises, the connections that Sir Mo has with especially Booker T over at the Reality of Wrestling. If you know anything about that, some of those people that end up on that show have been through the Reality of Wrestling with Booker T. So look out for that. So lots of things to keep in mind. Lots of things set up for that. All right, so we're set and ready to rock and roll. I don't see Cuervo. He's probably in the green room. He probably had to get his makeup done, keep himself looking so pretty. So what we're going to do is we're going to head into the next division of football that we're going to talk about, and I want to talk the NFC South, and the reason being because this is a very interesting division of football as we go into this new season. You're looking at the New Orleans Saints, the Carolina Panthers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with what they got going on down there, and the team I'm missing. What team am I missing? The Atlanta Falcons. And so lots of things going on as far as this division of football is concerned. Whether you got Tom Brady down in Tampa Bay, what will happen with that situation? Who knows? Will the Saints be the Saints? Will Teddy Bridgewater live up to his potential before he was hurt in Minnesota? And can Matt Ryan come back to Super Bowl, quality of play that he knows how to do? And I don't know about that, because when I'm thinking about the NFC South and all the teams that are in it, when you look at football teams and you see a sliding. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll start. Cuervo will jump in. I'm thinking he's kind of listening off to the side, still doing something. But I'm going to tell you right now, when I looked at this division of football, I was worried about the team that I have in last place, a team that has been to the Super Bowl and has been on a hangover. Dude, this football team, the Atlanta Falcons, they've got all the talent in the world. They might even get Mohamed Sanu back, as the Patriots went ahead and released Mohamed Sanu. He might end up back in New Orleans. So look out for that, or in Atlanta. But the Atlanta Falcons are a team that does not impress me. And really, to be honest, even when they went to the Super Bowl, they didn't impress me. And why is that? Well, to me, I think it's simple. When you look at the Atlanta Falcons, this team is not on the same page since the Super Bowl debacle, and they have not been able to recover. Atlanta has got the talent. You look at Julio Jones. Hell, Calvin Ridley is a badass. And they had Mohamed Sanu. I'm gonna tell you right now, Mohamed Sanu will be back on this football team. But they went out and got Todd Gurley. I mean, listen, you got an offense that is – the offensive line is good. Why are they not getting the job done? It's simple. You got a quarterback is so much in his head he can't get out. Matt Ryan has been the reason why we're not seeing this football team be any good. Matt Ryan has got all the talent in the world. He has the potential to move forward. And guess what? He has dropped the ball. Look at look at their records. And now, granted, the names are there. I mean, Julio Jones is a badass. There's no question. They give him the money. There's a reason why, and no one is questioning the money they spent. Calvin Ridley is a badass. And not only you think about it, they have Hayden Hurst and Gresham at the tight end position. And they're just, you look at this and go, God, if they had a good quarterback, this team could make a run for the Super Bowl. But guess what? They still got Matt Ryan. They still have Matt Schaub. This is the Atlanta Falcons of 7 years ago, and they don't find a way to get out of there. They got Matt Schaub as the backup. Listen, Matt Schaub is washed up. Completely and utterly cannot even get out of his own way. And if Matt Ryan goes down, you better start holding your breath. Because if you are an Atlanta Falcon fan, you got to remember You have the Saints to deal with. You got a total different football team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You don't even know what to expect there. And then, Carolina, what will they do? So within this division of football, when you say the Atlanta Falcons, I got them as the worst team in this division, and they should not be there. Not only that, Keith Smith is their fullback. This dude is a monster. They should be able to run it all day long. I don't know. Will Todd Gurley be able to come back to what he was? I don't know. They got Brian Hill backing him up as well as Ito Smith. So nothing really to write the home to mama about. That's another football team that might have went out to try to get Fournette, but he ended up on Tampa Bay. I don't know if they were in the gettings to get him, but I will tell you straight out right now, when I look at Atlanta, this is a football team that should be vying for the playoffs each and every year, and ever since the Super Bowl, they have not been that team. So why would you not pick the Atlanta Falcons to be last? A.J. Terrell, they picked him up. I'm telling you right now, cornerback, that guy's gonna be good. But when this team is all over the place and they can't get the job done offensively, they're going to have to depend upon the defense. And this is a young defense because they're going to be playing 3 rookies in the second string, which means they're going to see some time. But the problem with that is this team has no depth on defense, 0. And I will tell you, out of all of them, when I'm looking at this football team, there's no depth. That is where you end up having your problems. They got 3 rookies on the second string. One is a defensive tackle. The other is at linebacker, and the other is at strong safety. Now, when I was looking at the lines, and I listen, Dante Fowler Jr., I think, is going to be really good. I think that he will be a star. But when I'm looking at the rest of the names, I'm asking myself why. So right now, Atlanta is a football team that needs to come out of oblivion because that's where they've been playing since the Super Bowl debacle. And right now, they don't even, I don't know how anybody can have any confidence in them moving forward to be other than last in this division. With all the talent that they have, they should be winning the division. They should be better than New Orleans, and they should be better than Tampa Bay. And I don't have the Atlanta Falcons there. Good, bad, or indifference, Cuervo, I'm going to tell you right now, the Atlanta Falcons are a football team that has not been able to live up to their potential for the last 3 years since the Super Bowl, and they should be in contention within this division because of the talent, but right now it seems like they have zero chemistry whatsoever, especially offensively.
In Atlanta, yeah. And what a waste, Sonny, of talent.
Big time.
Opportunities to get back to the Super Bowl and try and finish the job. And it's just, big time. And I don't know. There's so many different ways you can point the finger at where the disconnect and the failures happened. At the end of the day, though, I think the head coach is the one that has to take the most of the blame.
Absolutely, because he's the one that but parts of that though, Cuervo, Dan Quinn is a defensive guy. That defense hasn't necessarily played incredibly horrible. They're not getting it from the offensive side of the ball. And look at the talent. I don't know where you were or how much you were listening, but they got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. Mohamed Sanu will be back on this football team, I think. I think Sanu will be back. That would give them a little burst as well. They got Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley signs with them. Is he healthy? Is he not? Will he play? Will he get his head out of his ass? Will he stop pounding? He gets a new start. But Cuervo, the big thing here, right now, you look at Matt Ryan. Okay, great. Hasn't been playing well. So usually, what happens to these kind of players? Okay, they get to the Super Bowl, they have the hangover. 2 years. what we're going to slowly see, I think Matt Ryan might have some injury situations that they're going to deal with. And guess who the backup quarterback is? Wherever, you're not going to believe it if you don't know it off your head.
In Atlanta, oh gosh. Yeah, you got me on that one.
Yeah, you don't know it. You don't know it. It's pathetic. They're so desperate they picked back up Matt Schaub.
Matt Schaub?
Welcome to the craziness of what is football in Atlanta.
Wow.
Not a young gun, not a guy that's got some potential. And you know what this was, Cuervo? This was an ego signing. Okay, because if they would have went to a young guy that's got potential, the question wouldn't be about whether or not Matt Ryan is the starting quarterback. The question will be, how soon will it be until we see the youngster?
Well, I mean, I think Atlanta still has a lot of faith in Matt Ryan and what he has left. I wouldn't say a lot, but I mean it's their best option.
If I had the sound effects working, this is where I would play What Have You Done For Me Lately? Because you want to talk about a guy that's dropped the ball since the Super Bowl, okay? And listen, I feel bad for Dan Quinn. I think he's going to be a good head coach other than Atlanta, unless they find a way to get away from Matt Schaub. Right now, Matt Schaub is the cancer, not on purpose. He just can't get out of his own funk. It's not like he's some kind of idiot, doing stupid things off the field problems. This is an on the field mental problem that he cannot seem to get over. And I don't think it's good for him. You want to talk about? We talk about all day long. Sometimes you need just a different place. And frankly, the fact of the matter is the fact that he's not backing up two quarterbacks in this league, and that would be if he's not the backup in Indianapolis or the backup in Detroit. That's where he should be. Because he can start for the crappy teams all day. If you want to put him in Jacksonville, great. That'd be wonderful. I'd actually like to see that, actually. But for whatever reason, he can't get out of his own funk in Atlanta. He needs to find a new home to where he can start afresh and start anew.
You talking about Matty Ice, Matt Ryan?
Yeah, Matty Rice. Yes, Matty Ice. Which, by the way, is definitely going to boiling water more so than ice. It's horrible. You're just not getting it out of that, out of that football team with him.
Not one bit. Not one bit, Sonny. Not one bit. You're getting it from him.
Where do you have Atlanta in this division?
I'm honestly, Sonny, I'm going to say Atlanta finishes. I'm going to go with third.
I knew that. Because you don't, I know the reason why you don't have as much confidence in my guy, who I think is going to be in third place in this division. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if the Carolina Panthers figure out how to get the second place or win this division, I'm going to look like a freaking genius because I love me some Teddy Bridgewater. And I did the research. This I had time for. Before Teddy Bridgewater went down with that crazy injury. It was walking from one field to another. Okay. All right. This guy was touted as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL at the time he went down, was expecting to take the Minnesota Vikings deep into the playoffs. Okay. So now a couple of years, 3 years beyond that, now he's got a shot. And listen, the Carolina Panthers are not a great football team, obviously. Some people don't believe in Teddy Bridgewater, but there are other problems with Carolina in reality too. So, but I like me. Listen, I don't know if Brian Tarvin will love this. I got some bad love for the Carolina Panthers because of what they did at the quarterback position. And not only that, let's not forget what he did when the New Orleans Saints lost their starting quarterback. He didn't lose a football game. He won all the games he started. They lost the first one that he went in on injury. The guy didn't lose a football game. So listen, I think the Carolina Panthers are primed to move out of the cellar of this division. And I got more belief than Teddy Bridgewater than anybody, any other analysis or any other analyzer of football out there. He's going to get a chance from day one to be the starter, and I think that's going to be great for him.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity for him, and congrats to Teddy, and I'm sure he's already getting established in Carolina and getting a lot of work in with McCaffrey and all those guys. I just don't – you're right. I just don't have the faith in Bridgewater like you do. I think it's the Christian McCaffrey show, and that's what you're going to get from the Carolina Panthers offensively. And then defensively, I think they're suspect.
Oh, yeah, I think they are too. Backup quarterback Will Grier. Interesting backup quarterback situation. I don't like that backup situation. They were actually in the Hill to try to get Hill from New Orleans. And I think he stayed with New Orleans. I don't think he moved out. But I know they were actively looking for him to back up Teddy Bridgewater. If they would have made that one, I might have moved him to second place because listen. I think Hill could start for a lot of good football teams in this, or a lot of bad football teams at the quarterback position, i.e. bad football teams, like the Cleveland Browns or, Cincinnati, teams, it seems like that. And, he can probably start on a lot of football teams. But as far as he's getting the education of the world right there with Drew, and the funny thing about that is you think about it, Cuervo, when Drew Brees went down, they didn't go to Hill. They went to Teddy Bridgewater. They went with experience. They had enough trust in him, and not only that, so now it is. You're right. It's time for him to shine if he's going to move forward. But I don't think you have them out of the cellar. I think you probably got them finishing in fourth place in this division.
As a matter of fact, I do, and I just don't. Like I said, I mean it's. After McCaffrey, I really don't think there's a whole lot of talent on that team offensively. I mean, you got DJ Moore. He's a nice little receiver, kind of like a Steve Smith was in Carolina, but I don't see him being a difference maker, huge difference maker. And defensively, like I said, I mean, I don't see the big splash signing or anything or draft pick that they made in order to improve that defense. So, I just don't think Carolina did a whole lot to improve their team. Yes, Teddy Bridgewater's there now, and that's huge. But what about everything else around him?
Yes. And not only that, I don't know how much, I'm just gonna try to be positive because everybody says I'm a pessimist. Everybody says I'm negative. I'm going to try the positive thing as far as Matt Rule is concerned. Now, of course, you think about that, the head coach, I wasn't a big fan of the signing at all for that at all. I don't think you were either, if I'm not mistaken. That was not the guy, but I'm going to try to run the positive, and the positive being young coach, young guy, Teddy Bridgewater, really kind of a young guy, out there, has the experience as well. Hopefully they can put it together. But I think a third place, visit for the Carolina Panthers would be very good for this football team, and slowly moving them up there. And we'll find out if Teddy Bridgewater can be a starter in the NFL, because you want to talk about a tough division. All four of these teams, not more than 2 or 3 years ago, we're talking about playoff teams. Okay, 2 or 3 years ago, we're talking about all of them, and even to the certain extent, the team that I think is going to finish in third place, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or second place, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, they're getting all the names, they're getting all of the quality. They got Leonard Fournette, by the way. I think Tarvin let me know that. Obviously, they got Gronk over there, and obviously the big signing right there as far as Tom Brady. The only thing I look at in this division is you're going to have to figure out a way to dethrone Drew Brees. And right now, if I'm starting a football team and I have my choice between Brady and Brees, I'm taking Brady. I'm taking Brees. And that's just an age thing in reality. They're close to age, but the more production is obviously coming from Drew Brees. But when I look at Tampa Bay, it's a complete. I'm not going to go full. I almost pulled out the couch potato quarter. Okay, which I got on my desk. I always got the couch potato quarter on my desk for a flip. You never know. And I almost flipped it, but then I thought to myself, New Orleans has been on the cusp of getting into the Super Bowl 2 times, and we can argue whether or not they should have been 2 times. So they're that close, and and I don't know. Even with the new stuff that's going on in Tampa Bay, I don't know if they're going to be able to get past the Saints in order to win the division. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in second place in this division are going to make the playoffs. So that only leaves one more in the NFC. So you got your division winners and then one other team as far as the NFC. So if you look at the way that we're looking at it, Green Bay, Seattle, and Dallas. Those were the division winners that we thought would win. So that means Philly, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and obviously Detroit or Chicago. Those are the other teams. But Philadelphia and San Francisco will probably have to be the leaders for that other wild card spot if Tampa Bay is going to get there.
Yeah,
or vice versa, Dallas if they finish second in the division, or San Francisco and Seattle if they flip-flop. So,
Yeah, it's divisional winners plus 2 teams. So it's just 2 wild cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Tampa's got a good shot. I mean, with obvious reason, but I'm with you. So you said Tampa's second for you.
I got Tampa. Listen, no one loves Tom Brady more than me. I mean, but as far as teams that are all put together, all developed, listen, yes, Gronk and him, they got the connection, but the rest of the chemistry for the football team, I don't know if I'm feeling really good about it. Well, only thing I feel good about that whole thing is their head coach. I love me some Bruce Arians. I love what he does. But at the same time, Bruce Arians, he pulls Tom Brady. He doesn't have to worry about the quarterback and coaching the quarterback in reality. And listen, that's what he does all day long. That means he can develop more attention on other places of his football team that needs help. I would love to be able to go for full hype on this and say Tampa Bay is going to win the division, but I don't have that much trust in Tampa Bay in order to do so. So I guess the question is, do you have trust in Tampa Bay to win this division of football?
I do not, Sonny. I think we have those 2 the same. Tampa Bay is second.
Yep.
With the Saints winning it. I just don't think, look, I know a lot of people are excited to see Brady and Gronk in Tampa, and that's cool and all. But I trust the consistency of the New Orleans Saints a lot more than I do.
We said it at the same time, Cuervo, consistency.
Yeah, that's right. And I trust that a lot more with Breeze than I do Brady his first year with a new team. I mean, first of all, I want to see it for myself. It's just going to be weird to see Tom Brady in something other than a New England Patriots uniform. But
yes,
aside from that, I don't trust the changes going on in Tampa. Now, I trust it enough for me to say that they're going to finish second, which is a lot to say. For a team, brand new quarterback, brand new weapons on offense, all that stuff. And, I just, like I said, I trust the consistency of the Saints a lot more.
So are you like me thinking that they'll grab up one of those playoff spots in the wild card, one of the 2 that are out there? Or you think that's going to go to Seattle, San Francisco, Dallas, or Philly?
No, I think it'll go to someone else. I don't don't see Tampa making it to the playoffs this year.
Wow.
I don't. I think the Saints will be the only team in that division getting in. I think you'll see an NFC East team grab a wild card spot, and then possibly a North. Yeah, I know. Hey,
No, West. You're going to go West. You're going to go San Francisco or Seattle.
Yeah, those two will make it, and then I think Dallas and Philly both make it as well.
Wow, Philly. I don't know. I wish I could trust Philly, but we're already getting the injuries about Carson Wentz, by the way, which, by the way, proves my point. And that was the big thing. That guy can't stay healthy. He was healthy a little bit last year, but not enough. So, interestingly enough. So, but good stuff there. So, we're the same. New Orleans, Tampa Bay in the South. And then Carolina and Atlanta, we switch on. I got Carolina in third and Atlanta last. You got Atlanta third, Carolina last. So that's where we're at as far as that is concerned. So good stuff there in the South. So in the NFC South. So that takes us to the AFC South. Worst division in football, Cuervo. I'm looking. I'm looking. And I think it's the worst division in football, except maybe they'd run to a close second. Close second would be the NFC North. Yeah, I said it. It's just like, yeah, worst division in football if they're not the NFC North. It's the NFC North. But that being said, looking at this division of football, it's such a coin toss because it just depends on what you think about this football teams that are in this division. You got obviously Indianapolis. The Jacksonville Jaguars are finishing last in this division. I don't even have anything to say. They sold off the whole freaking team. They have nobody that they replace them with. All the damn talent is gone. Hell, they might as well start the freaking mascot and they might cut his ass too. So, you look at that whole situation. The Jacksonville Jaguars are in a state. And listen, if you're Tony Khan, why don't you just come out and say, listen, we don't give a shit about the product. We'll just take your money because you want to come and see what we got, who we're playing. And listen, and it's actually, and I'll say it, it's my football team. They are the worst football team in the NFL right now, bar none. And that even the freaking Cleveland Browns could beat their ass right now. And that's how bad they are. That's how bad they are. It's pretty pathetic. Hey, listen, they're starting the year with Gardner Minshew, and they give away all their talent. Five guys they lost to free agency. Congratulations, Jacksonville. You suck that bad.
Fire sale.
Yeah. God, is it a dumpster? Is it a dumpster fire or what? Unbelievable. And they deserve this too. But in here, I'm telling you the reason why. They are putting a lot of money and a lot of effort in AEW. That being the other wrestling promotion. They got a lot of money in the AEW. Obviously not as much in the NFL, but their attention is not on football. And that is obvious because you don't let the talent walk out the door. Listen, Leonard Fournette should have been gone 2 years ago. So I'm not worried about Leonard Fournette. I never have been worried about Leonard Fournette. The guy has been overrated his whole damn career. Everybody, we love him. The guy has been a pain in the ass forever. So losing Leonard Fournette is no big deal. But when I looked yesterday, Cuervo, as we didn't do the show, but I thought I'd take a look and see what's going out there. I looked at the depth chart. Cuervo, I want you to listen to this. They got 5 second-string starters on the offensive on the offense. 5 second string. Okay, they only have 2 players that are third string, and that's a quarterback and a running back. So, my God, I feel bad for Chris Thompson. I think the guy's got a lot of talent. I think he's screwed. But I'm looking at this offensive line. They got Chris Conley at the wide receiver position, DJ Chark, and then they got some guy I've never heard of, Dede Westbrook. No, I've heard of him. The guy sucks. And then the only guy that they got that's worth a freaking nickel is Tyler Eifert at the tight end position. It's the only guy
Tyler Eifert went to Jacksonville?
Absolutely.
I did not know that. Wow.
So you want to take him out? You want to take Philadelphia and keep him second and not make the playoffs? Oh, that poor guy. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew is all you got to say, Cuervo. That's all you got to say. So that's how bad it is.
Minshew mania. Hey, you never know. But if it makes you feel any better, Sonny, Jacksonville's looking into signing Devontae Freeman who came from Atlanta.
You ready?
I don't know if does that excite you at all?
Are you ready? You ready for this? Whoop-tee.
Yep, you're excited. You look extremely excited.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
He's not quite Fournette's replacement, but he's a serviceable guy.
Okay. Yeah, he can get him 2 yards and make him look good. It is ridiculous. It's a dumpster fire. You fire sale, get rid of them all, and it's sad. That just goes to show when you got a billionaire who thinks he knows a lot about a lot of things and he doesn't know any about either one of them. So that's one of the problems in Jacksonville. So that leaves 3 teams, unless there's something you want to say about that piece of garbage football team in Jacksonville.
They got nice weather down in Jacksonville.
And they have Tom McManus.
Tom McManus, yes. Absolutely.
They should probably get him out there and coach up those freaking linebackers, for God's sake. Not that that would help. You can only do so much with the crap talent that they got going on. Now, that being said, listen, there's 3 other teams that listen, any of the other 3, I think, are capable of winning the division. But, right now, I look at a guy, some people are calling him a Hall of Famer. Listen, I like Phillip Rivers, but, dude, he's not a Hall of Famer in my book. The consistency is just not there. Now, you can blame that on having the talent or the ownership that you wanted over in San Diego all you want. I don't think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I just don't. And I love me some Phillip Rivers. But you want to know why? I rooted for this guy. I hoped that the Chargers could make the playoffs. They had some talent at one point. They can never put it frickin' together. And they ended up where they were. And they leaned on Phillip Rivers way too long for way too much. And it just didn't do them any damn good. They should have got rid of Phillip Rivers 3 years ago and brought in one of those young cats that are changing the face of the league. And they didn't do it.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, they didn't do it. I mean, it's a head scratcher, right?
Yeah. What are they going to do this year, Cuervo? They got Phillip Rivers. Okay.
Yep.
Off the top of your head, just right now, any other player on that team?
Well, T.Y. Hilton's good.
Oh God! But what? Did you just say T.Y. Hilton?
Yes.
Is good?
He's a good receiver, Sonny. He's good.
Listen, Cuervo, you're in California. You got to stop eating those brownies. I'm telling you got to stay away from the brownies, man. I'm telling you.
I can't.
T.Y. Hilton sucks. He's always sucked. He's never been good. He's been overrated since he played in the NFL. This guy, name me a year he was any worth a damn nickel. He hadn't do anything for any of their footballs. I'm sorry. The guy sucks. He's always sucked. He's just got a cool name, and he's living off a cool name.
Okay, he's living off a cool name. Son. I'll tell you what, though. Andrew Luck made him an all-pro receiver. That's what they need. They need to talk Andrew Luck out of retirement.
Well, I was actually thinking that wasn't going to happen this year because of COVID, but I was thinking next year I think we could see Andrew Luck back in. Now, listen, Andrew Luck needs to come back to football for money like he needs a hole in the head. It would have nothing to do with money, which might be the right situation for him when he comes back there, Bo, if you think about it. It's not about money. The guy's got money hand over fist. But you know, I looked at the Colts and I only seen one name, and I didn't even. I thought they cut T.Y. Hilton, but I looked on the depth chart and there he is, number one. Now, Michael Pittman Jr., the rookie that they got in the draft. I think he's going to be good. I think he's got the capacity to be good. Whether or not Phillip Rivers will get him in there. But this is a team that plays a two tight end with Jack Doyle and Trey Burton, and neither one of them are worth a damn nickel. They get Doyle from Tennessee, and they get Burton from San Francisco. Burton's pretty good. I guess I probably shouldn't say that. But they have no running backs they talk about either. So they're just in bad shape as far as the football team is concerned.
Yeah, I mean they're lacking a little bit, and the defense ain't much better. I mean, yes, Justin Houston came over and whatnot, but
they got him from Kansas City, right?
Yes, and they also traded for DeForest Buckner from San Francisco, so that is a piece that you can build off of in the future if you're in it.
Xavier Rhodes is a badass.
Who?
Xavier Rhodes from Minnesota. They got him. He's a bad.
That's right.
I think he's a badass. I mean, I may be wrong in my belief in him, but I think he's a badass.
I mean, there was a reason Minnesota let him go.
Well, and you think about that also, Kenny Moore from New England, they let him go for a reason too. So they've been active, but they haven't signed any of those guys that, you go, damn, that defense is going to be out of sight.
No, well, I mean, you're not going to say that about the Colts defense. I mean, because there's no one. I mean, Buckner's probably their best defensive player right now.
Probably, yep.
But Houston, I mean, Houston's good. He's a little long in the tooth. And I think that they have, besides Rhodes, I thought they had a good safety, but I could be wrong.
They have Kari Willis at the strong safety and McKill Hooker. You probably think that Hooker.
Malik Hooker, yes, Malik Hooker. Yeah. He's good. And he made the player. I'm sorry, he made the play of the year week 1 last year.
Mm-hmm. And listen, they got the best backup quarterback in the NFL, Cuervo. I just said it. They got the best backup quarterback in the NFL. Jacoby
Brissett. Yeah.
Listen, he's the best backup quarterback in the NFL. There's no question. Listen, I don't even like him, and he's the best backup quarterback in the NFL.
Better than Nick Foles?
Yes.
Oh, Sonny.
Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate it. Oh, I think he is. Absolutely, I think he is. Listen, he did better than I thought he was going to do as the starter in Indianapolis. And look at that football team. It was god-awful. Indianapolis sucked for the last 2 years. And he came in and he made him somewhat respect. I was picking him. My God, I was picking him in football games, which I didn't think I would ever do. He's shown flashes. Nick Foles is going to be the question coming off of injury. In reality, that's the only reason why I worry about him. I mean, will he stay healthy? He's, I don't know if he's going to turn into a Carson Wentz who can't stay healthy. Of course, that's who he backed up and went and won the Super Bowl, for. But okay, all right. Maybe he's the same. God, that's close. I'll have to look at that, Cuervo. I'll have to look at that. So, where do you have Indianapolis in this division?
I think I'm going to be right there with you and say that the Colts are probably going to finish third.
Yeah, I think you're spot on the idea. But that only leaves two teams within this division. And listen, I don't like comeback players to be good all the time after they come back. Okay, and listen, Ryan Tannehill, he took Tennessee to the playoffs. They had no business there. Okay, I'm sorry they don't. Say whatever you. I love me some Henry at the running back. And in fact, listen. I'll even say he's the best running back in the league right now. Best. And I don't care. You can talk about Ezekiel Elliott all day long. Oh, look at the yards. Yeah, but he's a pain in the ass. Get that guy out of there. You want to talk about a constant professional and a guy that you want to see succeed. If you don't like Derrick Henry, you just don't like running backs, or you don't like football, one of the two, because this is the most likable guy in the NFL as far as the running back position is concerned. I love me. And not only that, try to tackle the guy. And then if you're going to tackle him, you better tackle him by his legs. And then look at his legs. Good luck with that. I mean, this guy,
right.
is I would love to win the division, but Ryan Tannehill is not the answer quarterback position. And that's throwaway money. That was a bad decision for this football team. I hope I eat my words because I love their coach.
Yeah. I mean, Vrabel has been doing a phenomenal job in Tennessee. Hey, and congratulations to them for winning the Jadeveon Clowney sweepstakes.
Absolutely. That was a big pickup for them. I mean, they were good enough defensively anyway, Cuervo. I mean, then you add Clowney to the mix. Now, granted, it was a 1-year deal, and he got the money he wanted. I think he wanted 15, but I'm telling you right now, he made a mistake. The New Orleans Saints offered him $12 million. He should have took the pay cut and went to New Orleans.
Well, here's the deal. So the Saints were in the run for Clowney.
Right.
And what the Saints were going to do was a sign and trade. So with Seattle. Now, the problem was that the NFL actually nixed that deal because essentially what the NFL looked at it as they were paying for a trader. I forgot how they worded it, but they nixed the deal because it was kind of like one of those, you're taking advantage of a loophole in the system or something. I don't know. The bottom line is the NFL said no to the Saints deal, and they allowed Tennessee to sign up for I think it was $12 million. So either way, I mean, Clowney got paid.
Tennessee's paying, unless I read it wrong. They're missing it. Do you got a bail? I know you're looking to the left there. So you got a bail? Your time?
No. I'm looking at NFL Network. And
got it. Okay,
I'm looking to see if I can catch the deal as they show it across the screen or something. But
the Clowney deal, right? Yeah, the Clowney deal that they're talking about.
The Clowney deal, yes.
Yeah. I could probably pick it up. I thought I read it this morning, maybe, but I read it quick because I saw it. Here we go, Clowney. Let's see. Google knows all, so
of course.
So the sign-in trade, there it was, and let me just hit the news thing. It'll tell me the number. I could have swore I thought it said 15 million.
I mean, you could be right, Sonny. You could be right. I thought I saw 12.
But what it could have been is he was seeking 15 million, but I thought he got it. Let's see here. 1-year deal, Titans Sunday. Let's see if they put the money in the article here. And my internet. There it is. Yep. 1 year, 15 million. That's according to Schefter. So he did get the 15 million. Yeah. So, and he was probably right then. He wanted to go to New Orleans and take 12. That would have been smart if he wanted to win the Super Bowl, which he probably does. This guy doesn't need the money in reality, so that's a good thing for him. He can sign a little bit less to be on a better football team. I think he would have went for that all day long. But like you said, there was something within the wording of the sign-in trade that the NFL mixed the deal. And listen, I don't know the specifics of that, but that's going to be something that we'll be talking about probably in the next week as far as that's concerned. But Clowney is a badass. There's no question about it. But a guy like Clowney, I think probably will need some time to gel. But if you got somebody there like that's the reason why it's great. It's Matt Vrabel. It has nothing really to do with the football team. It's what Vrabel can do to mold this guy to be a good football player. And listen, that guy knows how to talk to those players. That guy knows how to talk to all those young cats out there doing their jobs. Don't matter who it is. This guy can communicate with them and fire them up. The only problem is the greatest show on turf is the New Orleans Saints, and they got everything going on there. Well, but I will tell you there's only one thing about the Saints that I'm worried about is whether or not Alvin Kamara will be happy. Listen, he can play for him all day long, but it's more about whether or not he's going to be happy, Cuervo, as far as where the Saints are concerned. But they're just far and better, a better football team. And not only that, if you look at the defense in the last 2 years, it's been getting better. So this is a team on the defensive side where we're talking 3 years ago, they were getting burnt all day long, but, they were somehow winning games. Then the next season, they weren't getting burnt and they were winning football games. Then that defense got dominant. And I think it's the only reason. But Drew Brees is the reason why you picked the NFC South, the NFC South. Drew Brees is going to throw for 5,000 yards again. No one's going to be able to stop him, and especially within this division. They're going to destroy. Listen, I'll tell you this: if they don't go 6-0 in their own division, I'll be shocked. They're far and above better than all these teams. The only team that probably has a shot at beating them in reality would be Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's because of experience on playing at that level. But if they go 6-0, wouldn't shock me within their own division.
No, it wouldn't shock me either. I think they have the capability to do that.
So
100%.
Yeah. So I don't know. So that now where were we? We were in the AFC South. We got flipped over there and everything, but back to the AFC South. So we have Indianapolis third and Jacksonville last, leaves Houston and the Tennessee, but we were on the Tennessee situation as far as that. I don't think necessarily Houston is so much better than that. But I don't. It's pretty sad. I'm gonna go with the new. I mean, he got his big contract. $140 million. In Houston. So they got their guy locked up for 4 years, Cuervo. So they got some mad love. I think he's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. His name's slipping my mind. What's his name, Cuervo? Starts with a W. Watson. Watson's a better quarterback.
Oh, Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. Definitely better. The only thing when I was thinking about if I'm going to switch this, I don't trust their coach. Listen, that coaching situation, I know why they had to stay with him, Cuervo. You had to keep this coach, O'Brien, right? So Brian.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien had to stay there because of the potential of Watson. And I think if they brought somebody else totally different in that mix right there, Cuervo, it could have messed up the success that Watson has there. So I think there's something within the coaching that Watson's really cool with and he likes. So if it wasn't for Watson, I think we would probably see a different head coach there in Houston. Especially after getting their asses handed to them in the playoffs, and getting whooped up. What was that whole deal? They had the lead throughout the whole game. They were. I forget who they were playing. They were crushing the hell out of them. Lost the game.
Kansas City. They were beating the champs.
Yeah,
they were beating Kansas City.
You can't see that. I would have walked if I owned that football team. I'd get in the elevator because I'd be in the high boxes. I don't walk stairs. broke. Never mind. When a bridge, I'm definitely not going to do it. I'd take that elevator down to that freaking coach's room and the locker room. Say, it's been real, it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun, especially today. You're out of here. Go clean it out. And that's what I would have done. That game alone probably should have got his ass fired completely. And now, granted, you lose to the eventual Super Bowl champions, but you cannot go up 24 points in a playoff game and lose that football game. You just can't do it. And especially against the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, you got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You got to tie him down. And guess what? Bill O'Brien is not the offensive mind. He's the defensive mind. So I would have fired his ass immediately. But obviously, when you're looking at it, the less shaking of the boat with a Deshaun Jackson right now in his career is probably best for not Jackson, but Deshaun Watson is the best with this team right now. I don't think you need to shake it up too much.
Oh, too late for that, Sonny.
Yeah.
They did shake it up. So here,
isn't Bill O'Brien coaching that team?
No, that's not the type of shakeup I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
They still have Bill O'Brien as a head coach.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So here's the deal. So Houston blows a 20-point lead in the playoffs on the road against Kansas City. So what do? They felt, okay, we blew a 20-point lead in the playoff. Hey, let's promote our head coach to GM. And then guess what he turns around and does? He turns around and he trades away the best player on the team. And nothing against Deshaun Watson, but DeAndre Hopkins is a dog. He is a beast. And what do? They turn around and they trade him to Arizona.
Best off season. You and I both agree is the best off season pickup for in anybody so far this year. Even with the late ones that are going on right now, it's still the best off season pickup of the year.
Yeah. So hey, great. That's great. Deshaun Watson gets paid.
Paid.
Sonny, who's he throwing the football to?
Yeah,
David Johnson. David Johnson, the always injured running back that they got in that deal, right?
And is that going to help him?
Sonny, I'm half tempted to, and I can't believe it, I'm half tempted to move Houston down to third. Tempted.
Wow, half tempted to third. So obviously you have Tennessee winning this division of football.
I do have Tennessee winning this division.
Got it. And so and that leaves Houston. You think Indianapolis is going to do better than Houston?
It's debatable. It's debatable because
I hear your quandary, and that would be a good. I get it. Makes sense because if Phillip Rivers halfway shows up, Houston could be in a lot of trouble. But when a guy signs for what Watson signed for, I mean, you're talking $35 million guaranteed for the first 2-3 years of that contract. So, that's big money. So they got some mad love there. But I agree with you. What else did they do? Now, GM and manager. Listen, that guy didn't deserve that spot in the first place as the head coach. Never mind the GM. I don't know what they're thinking about as far as that's concerned, because obviously trying to figure out what they do, why that breakdown happened. Well, it's really simple. The breakdown happened because they could not score in the fourth quarter of that football game, and the defense let them grow. So you had a combination of others, and Deshaun Watson was part of it. He was not capable of moving the ball in the fourth quarter, and that defense and the defense alone, I probably put 75-25. It was on the defense, but you've got to move the football, and they didn't do it in the fourth quarter. And they not only that, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. In the fourth quarter, they had three and outs. And you're up in this game when all this is going on. You just completely drop the ball. Whether that's coaching, I don't know. Whether that's what's out on the football field, not doing what they're supposed to, I don't know. But here's what happened, Cuervo. It was real simple. They thought they had their asses beat, and they let up, and Kansas City just put on the gas.
Well, here's the thing, Sonny. Every team or every playoff game for the Kansas City Chiefs went the same way. So in that divisional game, they were down 20-something points. What did they do? They stormed back and they scored like 40 or something like that, right? So
42 points.
Yeah. AFC Championship game rolls around against Tennessee. They're down 10 points in the second half. What do? They go off. What it was, and then they did it in the Super Bowl against the 49ers.
Yeah, they know how to handle pressure. They were never in those games. I don't even think in the game against Houston they were worried about losing that football game. That's how confident those Kansas City Chiefs are, whether it be offensively or defensively or a combination of both. I mean, they weren't worried.
Well, and that's my point, Sonny. My point is, I don't think it's so much that Houston, I guess dropped the ball or what's the word I'm looking for, that they choked. I don't think it's so because again, the same thing happened in the AFC Championship game against the Titans and then in the Super Bowl against San Francisco. They were down in every single playoff game. They made adjustments and they came back and they won these games.
Coaching.
So, well, yeah, and that's why I'm saying you give the credit to Andy Reid and his guys for figuring out a way to come back and win these games. Defense made adjustments. That's something you weren't expecting from a Kansas City defense because that was the weakness of that team was their defense. Mm-hmm. And they came in, they made adjustments when they needed to in those games and found a way to get all the way, and they wound up winning a Super Bowl. So my point is that, I don't think Houston necessarily choked. I just think Kansas City made the right adjustments and, caught Houston with their pants down. Same thing with Tennessee and San Francisco. They caught those teams with their pants down because those teams thought, oh, we got these guys. We got them beat.
Yep, we got them beat.
And they let off the gas, and that's the one thing you never want to do against Patrick Mahomes is let off the gas. I mean, did we not learn from the great Tom Brady that you never let off the gas? 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Never let off the gas. Yep. Always keep if you've got your foot on their neck, you better keep squeezing until the game is over, until those clocks say 0. Because you give Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be the next guy to be this way. You give him any opportunity to have an open door to come back to come back in a game, he's going to do it, and he's going to make you pay for it.
Yep.
That's what Patrick Mahomes is going to be. He's going to be the next Tom Brady in that sense.
What did Jerry Glanville say? I mean, it's not for long. The NFL says not for long, and if you play football, you won't be a coach for not for long. So that's one of the biggest things, and how he got even promoted is pathetic. Which it makes me wonder about the franchise. So I get why you'd want to move them there. Consistency, whether they're not. What will this be the next Atlanta Falcon choking themselves to where they can't even get in the playoffs like Atlanta does and has done, even though it was Super Bowl and they didn't make the Super Bowl. But that game can define it. And not only that, Cuervo, guess what game is on Thursday?
Houston and Kansas City.
Houston is in Kansas City, and now the NFL's rubbing their face in it too. How about that? And by the way, the NFL did that on purpose. They did that on purpose.
Of course.
And just the rub in the face. I mean, I don't know. Unbelievable. By the way, that game's going on. I'm in Kansas City. Houston. Listen, I don't know if they'll be able to get over it. That's going to be whether or not they can get over it is going to be the big deal right there. And I think they're Atlanta all over again. I think they wet the bed and that's it. I'm halfway tempted to move Indianapolis up, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. But I'm gonna keep it Houston. Tennessee, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville. I think they got, if they're going to be any good, they're going to win this division. God, this is why I had the quarter out, Cuervo. This is why I had the quarter out. This is not such a horrible division. It's the Jekyll and Hyde division of football this year because you never know what will end up happening. You watch Indianapolis Colts will somehow win this division, make me look dumb. Well, I'm pretty good at that by myself, but I'll give a little Indianapolis on it. But so you have Tennessee winning the division. Where are you going to land Houston? Are you going to land them in third and move Indianapolis up to second?
No, I think I'm going to leave Houston second right now, but don't be surprised, Sonny, if I message you in the next couple of days and say, you know what? Yeah, let's go for the gusto. Here's the other thing.
To change our picks until week number 1, which would be Thursday. So if we need to, we'll go ahead and make the switch there.
Yeah. And here's another reason that I'm thinking about moving Houston down to third. And we all know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Okay.
J.J. Watt's going to get hurt again. He's going to get hurt again. And you know what?
4 years ago, they needed to trade him where his value was. You and I both sat here, and we took a lot of heat for that.
Yes, we did.
Guess what? What has he done for the last 4 years? He's gotten hurt every
IR.
I come back for a playoff game that you had no business playing in. But I get why they did it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But he probably shouldn't have came back for that game anyway. So
I tell you, I hope to God, I pray that when the Titans play Houston, I pray that Jadeveon Clowney terrorizes Deshaun Watson. And Houston looks at it and says, damn, we screwed up again.
Yep. Come back and slap them in the face. Pretty much where it is. By the way, on Thursday, you on Houston or you Houston's on the road in Kansas City?
No chance.
Yeah.
Chiefs are gonna have their way with them.
Oh, it might be a blowout. It might just be the that fork, that starts the season out for him.
Right.
And maybe Bill O'Brien will get fired by week number 4. I mean, because they should have got rid of him a long time ago, but I get why they didn't. I understand it. I just don't agree with it. That
0-1 is going to feel like 0-5 for Houston. I'm telling you.
Especially after they mop the floor with them. Not only are they going to beat them, they're going to rub the freaking face in it because guess what? That game was in Kansas City in the playoff game, and they're back to Kansas City. I mean, the NFL, I don't know. The NFL might have a little problem with Houston. Maybe they pissed them. Maybe the Houston Texans pissed them off. I don't know.
Yeah, by making such a horrible trade, giving away DeAndre Hopkins, like.
Listen, on DeAndre Hopkins, I get how good he is. I do get it, and I understand. But, there are better, but when you're the Houston Texans, you don't get rid of that guy. I mean,
right.
Listen, you and I both agree there are better wide receivers out there. But if you're the Houston Texans, that's your guy. That's your guy. That's your moneymaker. Right now, obviously, Watson's outside of Watson, he's your moneymaker. You don't have anybody on defense to talk about, and if you want to live on the broken down legend that is J.J. Watt, you can go ahead and do so. But there was nobody else on that football team that had talent enough to say you got to worry about somebody, and Hopkins was that guy. And that's and to me, when I was reading it seemed like it's a pissing contest between him and O'Brien in reality too. That relationship wasn't evidently any good. And I read a story. I don't know how much truth it was, but there was a lot of personal animosity between Bill O'Brien and Hopkins.
Yes.
And that's the reason why that he's gone. Not necessarily because he don't have the talent. And that once you let the personal get in the way of business, you kind of just shot yourself in the foot. So, but How does you and I both? How's this guy get the GM job after that debacle in the AFC wildcard game? Just make or the divisional. What?
Yeah,
I
would. I don't get it either.
Listen. You got about 4 hours. And you know what? You can even have the whole day Monday. Get your shit and get the hell out of here. I've been done with that. And not only that, I would have went to the podiums and I wouldn't have been nice about it. No, this guy screwed up our football team. This guy got to go. And that's the way I would have put it, because actually, wasn't it a 24-point lead, Cuervo? Not 20. I don't know. Either one of them's inexcusable for him to lose that football game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't remember exactly how much they were up by, but it was enough. It was enough to say, you know what, all we got to do is maintain, and we're going to move on to the AFC Championship. And they just didn't get it done.
Prevent defense prevents you from winning championships. We talk about that all the time. So
absolutely, oh yeah, 100%.
Yep, 3 hours gone.
It was fun though.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Oh yeah, it's fun. It's always fun, especially if I got enough sleep. Then it's really fun. So like today. So
very true.
Absolutely. So that's all I got. Any other, now some of the news that was coming out. I don't know if you heard the news at the top of the show when we were starting. Hold on 1 second. Let me hit that. That's what it was. Obviously, you had the movements with the obviously the Jaguar thing is still leaving me bitter. Fournette going to Tampa Bay. What do you think about that? I mean, if it's gonna work anywhere for Fournette, it's got to be with Super Bowl guys who won Super Bowl championships.
And I mean, you know, I don't think they're going to expect much from Leonard Fournette. He's going to be a guy that just kind of fills in. I mean, because they signed LaShawn McCoy. They've already got Peyton Barber, I think his name is. Yeah.
Yep.
So they've got other running backs there in Tampa Bay. But to add Shady McCoy and Leonard Fournette, I mean, it's to me, it's at that point where, you know, Tampa Bay is the team that everyone's just going to bandwagon on.
I mean, Yep.
That's what you're getting with Tampa this year because of the Brady Gronk situation.
Let me ask you a question. The news that came out, it's actually sad. News that came out, and I don't mean like tears sad, but just sad. Josh McCown is on the practice squad for the Eagles. Is that sad? It just something like that. That just sounds sad.
On the practice squad?
Yes, he's on the practice squad.
Well, who's the Eagles' third quarterback? Who's their emergency quarterback?
I can get that in 2 seconds.
It should be McCown, because I know. Obviously, Wentz is starting, and I know Jalen Hurts they drafted from Oklahoma as the backup. So who's number 3?
Hold on one second. I'm pulling it up here. Josh McCown. What team again? Shoot, I'm pulling a brain fart.
I think you said the Eagles.
Eagles, yes. Thank you. That's what I thought, but I was like, wait a second, that's not right. I went back to New Orleans and everything. All right, so here it is for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're obviously their starting quarterback is Carson Wentz, which, by the way, got hurt. Jalen Hurts, and then it's Nate Sudfeld.
Nate Sudfeld, yeah.
They got Sudfeld, but I have a feeling that they're going to have to bring him up. Carson Wentz and the injuries, I think. Listen. I don't know much about Sudfeld, but I'm going to tell you right now. I watched him play, and listen, I am no Josh McCown fan by any stretch, but I'd rather have Josh McCown than Sudfeld. I seen what he did in San Francisco, and it wasn't good. Now, granted, that was 2 years ago, because he was in filling in for hurt Jimmy Garoppolo at the time. So, yeah. But he wasn't good. I'd rather have Josh McCown. I mean, And he's not great either, but he's got to be better than that. And he's won some NFL football games and he's got the experience. See, part of me don't even understand that, why he would be. But he is the oldest player in NFL history to be on a practice squad.
Well, that's probably why he's on the practice squad, because he's so old. I don't understand.
It's sad. Mm-hmm. And not only that, think about that. You think about what the practice squad is. Okay, just so people don't know, and the only reason why I know this is Brandon Doughty. Okay, you can be on a practice squad for 2 years. The third year, they have to pay you more, and you can stay on the practice squad. But you have some point have to be moved up to the regular squad for 3 games. If I understand the practice squad the way it is, okay. So even at that point, they could have Josh McCown on a practice squad for 2 years because Josh McCown can't get the job done. But that's a year-long contract. That means he is committed. He can't even go to a different football team right now, Cuervo. So he's committed to that, unless they pull him up. But out of all, Josh McCown might be smarter than we think, Cuervo, because everybody knows is not if Carson Wentz is going to go down, it's when, and he's already there. They're leaving him out of practices. He's been hurt. Soft tissue.
Hurt already?
No, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is hurt already?
Yes, already. Yes.
Hey, Sonny, no, it's okay. Nick Foles will just step in.
Yeah, Nick Foles.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not there anymore.
Yeah, not there anymore. But, interestingly, here, I'm getting it. I've read something about soft tissue, and they were keeping them out until the first game. Here it is, news. And obviously the first one,
yeah, I bet he's got soft tissue. He's soft everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So they just pulled him. And this is today because I didn't see it. They just got him off of the injured list, so he's supposedly back and ready to go. He's completely healthy and ready to prepare for week number 1. But that right away. By the way, just to let you know, I'm also seeing an ad here. He's saying he wants Josh McCown to be the backup for him, which is interestingly enough. He might have got him in. Might have got him in there. That's what it is. Groin injury. Oh, Cuervo. God.
Oh, boy. The infamous groin injury.
Oh, man, the groin injury. That's where God, I hate to say it, but that's where you get, passing deep down the field, Cuervo. You got to get it from the groin muscles. You got to be able to, oh, my gosh. Interestingly enough. By the way, from what I'm also reading here, Jalen Hurts in the red zone, huge. Now, I don't know what that means. That was 3 weeks ago. I don't know if he's running the ball into the end zone or if he's throwing the ball into the end zone. But as of 3 weeks ago, they were talking about Jalen Hurts is ruling the red zone. So, interesting enough there.
Eagles. What are you going to do? Good thing they drafted Hurts, though.
Yeah, I mean, really simple. They drafted Jalen Hurts. Listen, Jalen Hurts is a total 180 from Carson Wentz. Total 180. Not even close. In reality, but if Carson Wentz don't get that, and teams won't be ready for Jalen Hurts. Listen, teams are going to get ready for Carson Wentz because if he is not hurt, this guy can be a badass. I'm not saying he is. He can be. So you gotta go about it, and you gotta sell out to it if you're meeting the Eagles the week before. But you're not going to prepare for Jalen Hurts. The only way that you prepare for Jalen Hurts is if you played Lamar Jackson and you got an idea of what Lamar Jackson can do, and you got to kind of put it in that one. Because Jalen Hurts is going to be, kind of along the same lines as Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I see the comparison there. Yeah, but you're right though. I mean, they're two total opposite quarterbacks. And you got the tall pocket passer, and then Hurts is a shorter mobile quarterback. So, like you said, complete 180, complete opposites.
Total. I didn't even understand the pick when it happened. It really shocked me in reality. As a matter of fact, if they're, obviously I thought Baltimore might be a guy that would be going after them, or obviously, Houston, with Watson, or maybe even for that matter, Seattle might have been there. Even though Wilson is really more the pocket passer, he's got the capabilities of being that running quarterback. That's where I thought that he would fit best. Would have been Seattle. When I was looking at it and we were doing the that's where I thought he would end up. I thought he would end up in Seattle. Of course, I was wrong. I'm never right when it comes to the draft. You guys are better than that than I am. But it is what it is. So here's the deal. 9 o'clock now, which 7 o'clock your time, will be week number 1. So 7 o'clock and ready for week number 1. We're both on Kansas City. I don't think it takes a genius to figure that one out. But supposed to be a full slate. Do you think there will be any changes going up to week number 1? Will they go ahead and play those games, or is the door still open for any changes and maybe postponements of the season?
I think the door is open for changes. Do I think any changes are going to happen? Unless something significant happens, Sonny, I don't. I think the NFL is just going to go ahead and move according to schedule.
Yeah.
And so, but again, unless something significant happens, I still think that no changes will happen.
Well, I know Washington, is playing to an empty stadium. They've already said that they're playing to an empty stadium.
And don't they have to reveal their name before the season starts, or before they play their first game?
No, I think what that was is the plan was to reveal it before the first game, but I don't think they're obligated. I think they can call themselves the Washington Football Team, which is stupid.
That's going to be so weird.
Just name yourself and stop with the BS. I know it's a trademark. Pay the guy his money and get your name. Evidently, someone owns the Red Wolves, which is, I think, is the name they're going to be. Which, by the way, I think is cool because I like them and I like that name. That way everybody's happy, and they still don't have to change a color thing, and they just need to get a new logo. That's it. So they keep the colors and keep everybody happy with the colors. So, by the way, did you hear about Kansas City, what they're doing as far as the fans are concerned?
No.
No Indian headdresses are going to be allowed inside stadium.
I think I did hear about that.
I think I'm heartbroken. I think listen, you got fans, and your fans love your team. Listen, the fact they can't support the team the way it is, the Chiefs, if you're going to do that, change the whole damn name. I mean, but if you're going to be the Chiefs, don't take it out on the freaking players because of political correctness and reality. I mean, that's what this is. That's a bowing to political correctness because there's not. Now, Redskins, they had some complaints, but actually the people that it was based upon had no problems with it, but others did. And as far as Kansas City is concerned, no one complained about it. Not one. Maybe there might be one. But as far as a majority on everything, I've never heard anybody complain about the Kansas City Chiefs being disrespectful. Obviously, the name honors the high chief. So the chief, it honors them. The Redskins, I get it, I understand it, but since the family doesn't have a problem with it, that's where the political correctness is getting in the way. And you know what that's almost like, Cuervo? That's almost like telling an Oakland Raider or Las Vegas Raider that you can't dress up when you go into the games. It takes away from the fan experience, and it kills the whole damn thing. I will actually be watching for that. But how many games or how many teams are not going to have anybody in the stands or not, or do you know? I haven't kept up with it. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure either. So I think there's only like a handful of
that are playing
teams that are. But I think it also depends on. Doesn't it also depend on the what the state is, protocol is right now?
Yes, that's what it is.
So,
and frankly, I've been hearing about the Dallas Cowboys. They said they were going to play to half capacity. I think they're in trouble with that estimate as well. I think it's going to be less than that too. But high school football kicks off on October. Unless someone makes some kind of major change there, they're going to start it off in October. Some of them are playing, by the way. The 3 and 4 and 3 and 4A, 5 and 6A starts in October, or the last week of September. So we'll be doing our Rowlett Eagles coverage as well when that starts up. So that's where we are. Anything else, or I don't want to keep you. I'm just talking.
No, I think that pretty much covers everything today, Sonny. I mean, we finished the divisions, we got all our winners in, and I'm just ready to see some football.
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing what it's going to be like.
Same here.
Isn't that funny? It's not the games that are the story; it's the fans. The fans are going to be the biggest story week number 1, or even the whole season. Hell, we'll find out, because it sure in the hell ain't the teams. I want to see what happens. See, because I have a hard time. See, the WWE did something very smart for me to watch. They got the fans, even though they're on television, they got the fans in there where the fans can, so you can see faces of fans, and they're pumping in, obviously, crowd noise and stuff like that. But at least it's watchable now, per se, than to an empty. I don't understand that whole thing. So it'll be real interesting to see, and how players will react of not having the fans in I think that has a big, especially wide receivers. No fans in the stands. Who are you showing up for?
Good question.
Yeah, so there you go. Good stuff. All right, my man.
All right, Sonny.
I think we did it. So that's going to do it for us here on the Sports Show. We'll start our 9 o'clock kickoff Central Standard. 7 o'clock Cuervo time. That's 10 o'clock for those on the East Coast, and Mountain Standard Time will be what time? At 8 o'clock. So go across the country. So that'll do it for us here on the couch today. Cuervo, have yourself a good day.
All righty, Sonny, you do the same.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your time with your lady. And we're out of here, everybody. Have yourself a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.